Hello, good evening, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the SimGrid British Classics here at the virtual recreation of Silverstone in Assetto Corsa Competizione. I am David Christie. Joining me in the SimGrid commentary booth, very warm welcome and hello to Alex Goldschmidt. Alex, welcome aboard, buddy.
Good evening, David. Good evening, everyone. Yes, the home of British motorsport, Silverstone, that hosted the first ever Formula One Grand Prix back in 1950. Firstly, a big thank you to SimGrid for allowing me the opportunity to commentate on what's going to be some fantastic British classics this evening, David.
And it's a bit of a strange location, this as well, because both me and you have got a bit of a personal connection to this track.
We have, because I was on the live commentary team for the Distrigo Parts Distribution Citroen C1 24 Hours of Silverstone as the lead commentator and presenter. David was one of the drivers in the teams in the pit lane, and I managed to collar him for an on-camera interview that particular weekend. Not just him, but another fellow commentator in the form of Mark Werrell as well. So, it was the first time we actually got to really sort of catch up and chew the fat, so to speak. And from there on in, we've started working together, not just in the esports world, but also professionally as well, my friend.
Yeah, good to have you on board tonight with us here at the SimGrid. So, Silverstone, an iconic track, as you said at the start there, the home of British motorsport, and quite a unique race that we've got tonight. 90 minutes of racing, 2 mandatory pit stops, and over 6 splits tonight. 40 cars in each split. That's 240 drivers in one evening. This is going to be one hell of a race, but I think without further ado, let's have a quick look around the track here, and I do believe we've got the iconic Bentley taking us around Silverstone.
Matt from Zancho Simsport takes us on board a hot lap here at Silverstone in the Bentley Continental GT3 from 2015. Across the line as we now make our way towards Copse Corner, taken at 4th gear at 175 kilometres an hour. Before putting the power down, running a little bit wide to the left-hand side on the exit, heading towards Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. First part, Maggots taken at about 240 in 5th, dropping down to 4th gear now, down the gearbox we go from 4th to 2nd, a decrease of about 70 kph through Beckett's as we now accelerate through Chapel Curve at 3rd gear at 180 kilometres an hour, down the Hanger Straight and underneath the bridge, on the run down towards Stowe. Now look how much Matt is angling this Bentley towards the left-hand side of the straightaway to get the ultimate rotation through into Stowe Corner. Taken at 3rd gear, 140 kilometres an hour on the apex, and neatly touches it. Runs a little bit wide coming through into Vale. Now into Club. Now drop down to 1st gear, 80 k's through the next part, through the first of 2 right-handers here at Club. There's the second one, taken at just over 165 kph, down the International Pit Straights, heading towards Abbey, dropping from 230 in 4th to 200 in 4th, that's kph, through the left-hander at Farm Curve, accelerating all the way up towards the braking zone for Village, taken at 2nd gear at 85 kilometres an hour. Then it's the tight left-hander at the Loop, again 2nd gear, 75 kilometres an hour on the speedometer. Now accelerate, up to 3rd. Through Aintree at 3rd gear, down the Wellington Straight, under the final bridge, through into Brooklands, dropping down from 5th to 2nd, dropping over 140 kph of speed down to 105 through Brooklands, into the tight right-hander at Luffield, which comes back on itself at 95 kph through in 2nd gear, now accelerating, running a little bit wide on the apex, through Woodcote, pushing 4th gear at 200 and crossing the line at 220 plus kilometres an hour in 4th gear.
There we go then, a fantastic track guide there from our very own Alex Goldschmidt there, and I mean there are so many key points on this track, aren't there, Alex? You've got to say that momentum is such a strong factor tonight in getting some good pace and some good lap times.
Definitely the case, David, especially when we're going to be starting from the national pit straight as opposed to the normal wing complex. which leads into Abbey and Farm Curve. I mean, you know, drivers are going to have a real good chance of momentum going through from Woodcote, accelerating at around 4th gear, 200 kph, heading into Copse. They're going to have to lift off the throttle, and it's going to be the brave of the brave going into Maggots. You know, they're pushing well over 150 miles an hour in 5th gear, but then it gets really tight and twisty before they explode out of Chapel. You've got the run down the Hanger Straight through into Stowe, Vale into Club, another great opportunity. We could see 2-3 abreast if people are feeling really, really brave this evening, through Abbey and into Farm, going into the braking zone for Village. I mean, Brooklands, another great overtaking opportunity. We're now on board with the 287 of Fabio Azevedo, who's showing the McLaren, and just by my calculations, Azevedo goes into a spin there, David, and that's not where you want to do it, right in the middle of Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, and that could have been probably some new Nomex required right there, virtually speaking.
Oh, I'm getting horrible PTSD flashbacks of that one, because that's exactly the same place where I spun it in real life, and that is a scary, scary place, let alone having these GT3 cars coming through. But again, no harm, no foul. But it's exactly what you just said there. With all of these drivers taking part tonight, you know, strategy is going to be such a key thing, with the fact that you've got 2 pit stops, 2 mandatory pit stops to take over that 90-minute race. The bit that absolutely scares the bejesus out of me, Alex, is the fact that all of these drivers, all of them, are going to be going full pelt into turn 1, Copse Corner.
Well, especially when you got over 50% of the grid here this evening, the legendary Aston Martin Racing Vantage V12 GT3, that was actually one of the most successful cars in British GT history until its sudden withdrawal before the Vantage V8 turbocharged GT3 we see nowadays was its replacement. But it's still great to hear that classic 5.9 litre V12 raw 6-speed manual gearbox. It still provides chills down the spine, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but I've got to be honest, my eyes are completely locked to the car that Luca Tavanari is driving, the number 7 machine. It's the Jaaaag. We love it, and there's only a handful of them doing it as well. Luca Tavanari is in it. You've got Bastian Richter in the number 58. You've also got Ludvigsen, Sigurd and Ludvigsen in the 103 car. I believe our very own Colin Courtney is in one as well. You've got Alexander Pollock in the Jaaaag as well. It's a shame they didn't get as much love as really they ought to.
Well, I mean, you know, when you think about it, the Aston Martin Vantage was actually a factory-backed effort, whereas the XKRS GT3 that actually was first of all brought into GT3 racing by Emil Frey, who then went on to the Lexus RCF, which I remember correctly earlier on this month, the Lexus was pulling all factory support. And look, there is an absolutely blistering time at the moment. We're just under 15 minutes to go in quali here, David. And it is the number 26 of Yuri Petrichenko from Germany, who's put in an absolutely blistering 157 555 in the 650S. The McLaren looks to be rather strong here at the moment. But then you've got a trio of Astons just behind, with Focher, Prendergast and Van der Kokelt, with the latter being from the Netherlands. But then Cifuentes puts it up into P2. But look at the gap that Petrichenko has got at the moment. That's like nearly 6.5 tenths. That is huge, David.
That is a monumental gap that he's got already. The track is obviously warming up. Two of the big names that you can see in the top 5 just now, Kieran Prendergast and Niels van der Kokelt. Keep an eye on them, Alex, because we see them time in and time out here at SimGrid in all of the various events that we do, and they are very, very fast drivers. We're on board on the Twitch stream of Colin Courtney there. He is doing us proud. I've got to say, my hats go off to him right now. He is representing the comms team right now, so we expect big things. And I was in Twitch giving him the necessary abuse to get him G'd up for the race tonight. But in all honesty, he's about maybe 1.5 seconds off the pole pace, and really he's going to be in the thick of things tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the times, they are changing all the way up and down the order, as the number 99 Bentley of Simon Ranzaev, he goes into P12 as Petrichenko, amongst others. Some of the drivers really, really pushing the envelope, going through Maggots, Beckett and Chapel here, David. and they'll come through out of Chapel and go down the hanger straight heading towards Stowe, and you can just see how planted that 650S of Petrichenko is at the moment. But Prendergast and Knippels in the number 13, look at it, look at that, it's a McLaren on provisional pole with Petrichenko, and then you look down, the remainder of the top 6 is all Aston Martins, followed by Tavanari in the number 7. And it's getting really close now. The top 10 covered by just over a second as Prendergast going through Abbey. Absolutely flat chat in that Aston Martin. Absolutely glorious sight to see this car. Even though in a virtual recreation sense, it's good to see that car back out on track.
Oh, we absolutely love it. It's a big firm favourite here at the sim grid, and the one thing that really stands out to me in this sim is the audio production, the real life replication of these glorious GT3 machines. It just brings it to life, and it's in a way that I don't think that any of the other sims really able to offer right now. 12 minutes left to go in qualifying for this British Classics event here at the sim grid, and yeah, this is awesome stuff. I've got to be honest, I don't think anyone's coming close right now to Petrichenko. Prendergast has had a go. He's nibbling away, but he's not able to make any great progress towards it, given that Petrichenko just fired it in out of absolutely nowhere. Petrichenko's only done 3 laps.
That's the more astonishing thing. I mean, it seems like being one of the newest cars out of the quartet that we've got, you know, considering that and the Bentley, whereas the Jaguar, which will be good in a straight line, you know, we can see that on ACC through tracks like Monza, for instance. When you really start to stretch the Jaguar's legs, it really does come into its own. But at a track like Silverstone, you're going to need a combination of both. You're going to need that straight line speed, but along with that, you're going to need that agility, the aerodynamic properties of each car. And the McLaren really seems to be the better, more purposed of the quartet. And yeah, it seems like there's quite a few gains up the order as well, David, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just actually having a look there. That's the number 400, I think it was, of Kevin Niles from Great Britain, who is on an absolute stormer right now. He's abandoned the lap, though, obviously come a cropper in Sector 2. This is Christian Lozanov, though, in the 101, just coming round the final corner just now. This is a fairly big lap. Wow! 3rd place, 16 place gain on that one lap. That is the time to bring it out the bag, Alex.
Yeah, 1 minute 57.903. That is an absolutely barnstorming lap from Christian Lozanov, as Pasquale De Luca from Ireland, currently running in 24th, is on your screens, and the number 54 at the minute. But that's just showing how competitive this is. But David, there has been a change in the pecking order, because you've got a McLaren leading an Aston Martin, and then you've got not just the 101 of Lozanov, you've also got the number 58 of Bastian Richter from Germany rounding out the top 4. So Aston Martin not having its way with trying to lock out the bottom part of the top 6 right now.
And goodness knows they're trying. I mean, they've got nearly, what, 2/3 of the entries on this part of it anyway. They're absolutely outnumbering everything else. And look at that, you've got McLaren, you've got how have we got 3 Jaags in the top 10? That's awesome. Saying Christian Lozanov, you've got Bastian Richter and Luca Tavanari in 3rd, 4th and 7th place respectively. So yeah, the Astons, despite having, you know, that massive outnumbers, they're not having the best of it. And there you go, Bastian Richter up into 2nd place already, just 0.3 of a second behind Petrichenko.
Yeah, Nick Dippels from the Netherlands in the number 13 went P4 briefly before Richter decided to show his nose. Looks like there's another improvement, as that looks like Ryan Meenan in the number 12, currently running in now what is P7. So the Aston Martins, as the track seems to be evolving, even though it's cloudy, David, 12 degrees air temperature, 12 degrees track temperature. These Aston Martins are really coming alive, and you can just see how hard these drivers are pushing with about 8.5 minutes still to go.
And it's a very difficult one as well, Alex, because obviously you've got the traffic to contend with, but with the long straights here at Silverstone, that adds the benefit of potentially getting a little bit of toe in as well, which might explain some of the faster times that we're seeing throughout, but it could equally hinder you if you're not behind a faster driver.
But I mean, especially if you come out of Chapel going onto the Hangar Straight, you know, they're pushing about 250 kilometres an hour going into the braking zone for Stowe. So if you can get an extra 5-10 kph through the momentum carry, you know, that's going to change everything. As Jaaaag is currently up into 15th position in the number 33 McLaren. There's Klaus Naring, one of the Danes in the field, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, running the number 24 Aston Martin. So it's quite a close field here as well, David. Top 30, would you believe that? Covered by less than 1.6 seconds. Craziness ensues here at Silverstone.
Yeah, the pace that these guys have got is just absolutely fantastic. Gotta give a big shout out to everyone that is on our YouTube channel tonight. A very good evening to seasoned regular Michia Bonka, who hasn't quite grasped the British Classics title and is asking why we don't have Audis. So yeah, we'll leave that one there. He's been gently nudged in the right direction by YouTube chat, so thank you very much to Mentoroff for just gently reminding him of the title of this event. But great to have you guys all on board. Hensai currently in P29 right now, coming through the end of the lap just now, and the number 5 machine goes up just to 23rd. He doesn't really make all that much of a dent, but power sliding that car through Copse Corner there, Alex. I'm not sure that's the fastest way around the track.
Well, if you were Tsuchiya, the Drift King, he'd be absolutely happy with that one flying through Copse, as there is Richard Lindhorst going through Abbey in the 111 Aston Martin, currently rounding out top 12 at the moment, who are currently covered by 0.729 seconds. So it is really, really close. I mean, you just look at the times, the top 20 with Niles in the 400 Bentley, they're covered by 1.1 seconds, and this is just showing how close this is becoming, because Petruchenko has done 6 laps and no one has been able to get within 2.5 tenths of a second. You know, the number 58 of Richter, Bastian Richter from Germany, has had that opportunity, and you know, he's got to try and get back out on track. So is Brendagar, so is Lazarov, Nipples in the number 13, Cifuentes, Raiminen. You know, there's the whole host of drivers. You can't really count anybody out, because it's going to come down to the last 5 minutes. As soon as they get an outlap, they get some clean air like Lindhorst has got at the moment, that could be the opportunity where their cars could really shine.
It certainly could. 5.5 minutes left to go in qualifying, and this is where they're going to have to pull out all the stops. I can't believe we've got less than 1/10 of a second between second and 5th place on the grid. So that is just mind-blowing, the level of consistency. But here's Killian Ryan-Meenan of Sidemax Motorworks in the 23 machine, making his way around, currently in P18 at the moment in the Aston Martin, 0.2 of a second up, so this could be huge for Killian Ryan-Meenan, one of the faster drivers that we have here in Split 1. Comes round the final corner just now. What can Killian Ryan-Meenan do? Goes across the line. Wow, so he's botched a lap somewhere, Alex, and possibly exceeded track limits.
Well, if you look through Woodcote, he was nigh on 4 wheels outside of the white line, and that's what a lot of drivers are pushing the envelope on. I mean, Veerman, you can just see he goes P12 on that particular lap, but that's one of the biggest points where you go through Woodcote. There is a runoff area there, but if you take too much advantage, yes, it is going to invalidate your lap straight away, and it's not easy. You know, you've wound it up to volume number 11. You've gone for it. You've gone full chat and hoped it's going to stick, and then you make one mistake. It could have been anywhere on the circuit. So,
right. Okay. So that is a very, very unusual thing to see from Killian Ryan-Meenan. We used to see him bringing out all the big times. Here is Hensai for Rookie Monsters, goes across the line just now. What can Hensai... Oh, in fact, he's all over the wrong half of the circuit, isn't it? Never mind, guys. I do that an awful lot. I really struggle to tell the difference between the national circuit and the wing pits part of the circuit. It's yeah, Alex, you're going to have to keep me right on that one, buddy.
Yeah, it looks like we've got one driver in particular going 3/10 up, as some drivers actually getting out of the way, blocking one of the key points that is not allowed in qualification, because that will be looked at. We are currently on Split One, having live stewarding this evening here on the Sim Grid. Don't forget to follow us on all the relevant social media channels. You can also see the code for our Discord channel, so if you do fancy signing up, get involved. Why not do so, as we're now on board with Bastian Richter in the number 58. He's still 3/10 off Petrichenko. I'm just trying to keep an eye on his split times at the moment, but Richter now is about to come out of Luffield in through to Woodcote. Let's see if he gets any closer to those drops. Look how close he was to the fence right there, and he's still... That's a personal best, and he goes within 42 thousandths of Petrichenko. Oh, Richter is bringing out the Uzi 9mm tonight.
Wow, that is incredibly close, and this is going to be his probably penultimate flying lap right now, as we've got 2 minutes 25 on the clock just now. White flag waving as we've got a slow car rejoining the track. This is Sigurd Ludvigsen in the Laser Boys 103 machine, currently making his way around in the Jaag. One of the few Jaags actually outside the top 10, because look at Avamari rounding out that top 10 in his Jaag. But it's quite a striking colour there. He's just went straight for the pink there, Alex.
Oh, Petrichenko has just gone green, I've just been told. So Petrichenko might be responding to the efforts of one Bastian Richter. So Richter went within 42 thousandths of a second. Now Petrichenko is making his way through Aintree. So 3/10 up it seems like. So Petrichenko really winding up this McLaren 650S GT3. He's now going to go through into the left at Brooklands as we go on board with the number 26 McLaren. So he's going to carry the momentum through, run it as wide as he can before go. Well, he actually doesn't run it wide at all at Luffield and takes a nice clean line. Whereas some drivers will go to the left, swing it to the right to get the rotation. Now coming through Woodcote, he's put the power down here in the McLaren, gets close to the fence once again with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. Oh. He extends that to over 2/10, or 157.375. So looks like Richter's got a bit more time to find, but we've only got 60 seconds left in the session.
So this is going to be it for Richter. He's going to get one more shot after this lap. Just now, he's just coming through the final corner just now through Woodcote and across the line. What can Bastian Richter do? Oh, that's not quite enough. That was a 1:59.7 that last lap round there. So yeah, that's not going to set the world on fire. So. What I wonder if the track has evolved, Alex, because we've seen all the major developments. Let's exclude Yuri Petrichenko, because I think he's a bit of an outlier here. The fact he was able to put that lap in on lap 3, but nobody's really been able to improve at all in the past 5-6 laps.
Apart from the driver on our screens, Niels van der Kerkholt in the number 47 Sidemax Motorsports Aston Martin. He's currently rounding out the top 10, and they're still covered by 0.72 seconds. But Petrichenko has got that 650S planted to the Silverstone tarmac like nobody's business. So van der Kerkholt now making his way down the Wellington Straight. So checkered flag out for the session. So the timer has come down to 0 after 20 minutes of quali. But van der Kerkholt now going through into Brooklands. Now we'll go to the right-hander here at Luffield, and look how tight he gets the apex, but allows the car to drift out, run a little bit wide coming out of Woodcote. Looks to be a little bit neater and tidier from the 47 as he now comes. How close is he going to get to the fence? Not close enough, but let's see if he does improve. Doesn't improve on that one in 1 minute, and he spins it going across the start-finish line.
Yeah, that was showing off some flamboyancy there that we usually see. We usually like to see from him, but it's all about Kieran Prendergast now. He's the only one that is on a flying lap right now from Comrade Gaming in the number 10 Aston Martin. I can't believe that we've not got an Aston Martin on pole. That's the one thing I'm absolutely shocked right now. 0.3 of a second he's in the green by just now. We'll see if that's enough through the final part of the circuit. He's making his way down the Wellington Straight just now. Then he's going to be on the brakes very shortly into Brooklands, that left-hander, and then in towards Luffield, that horrible, horrible right-hander where I managed to bin it under a safety car, but we'll say no more about that whatsoever. And then on to Woodcut Corner. That car is it's simultaneously looking rather planted, but also rather twitchy at the same time. Barely takes any of the curb there. Goes cross-line, still in third place then. 0.3 of a second, and improves very, very slightly. 1:57.750 for Kieran Prendergast. Alex, wow, what a qualifying session.
Yeah, very, very much the case there, David. I mean, all 36 competitors with us this evening, 2.928 seconds. But then you look at how close the top 30 was, David, 1.698 seconds. And that was rounded out by the 81 of Maranowski from Poland. But look, I mean, Petrochenko, I think, just had everyone's number. 3 laps in, put in a belter with that 650S. And then Bastian Richter from Germany tried to respond as best he could. And he got close. He got to within 0.5 of a second. But then Petrochenko just went, you know what? I'm going to leave you guys in my dust. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, that's it. To see Bastian Richter drag that car a little bit closer and put him under pressure, Yuri just lit the fuse and thought, no, I'm not having any of that whatsoever. So here is your results then for qualifying for the British Classics event here at the Sim Grid. Yuri Petrochenko takes pole position alongside Bastian Richter, 0.2 of a second, splitting them up. Then on row 2, it's Kieran Prendergast alongside Christian Lozanov. And row 3, it's going to be Alessandro Fokker alongside 6th place of Nick Nipples. 7th place is Eric Diaz alongside Cormac Ryan Meenan for row number 4. Row 5 is going to be Javier Fuentes alongside Niels van der Kekelt in 9th and 10th place. Luca Tavanari in the Jaaaag is in 11th place on row 6 alongside Alexander Pollock in the Jaaaag. I'm going to say that every single time there's a Jaaaag there. 13th place for Mike Veerman, 14th place for Richard Lindhorst, Peter Henneberg in 15th alongside Sigur Ludvigsen in 16th place there. 17th and 18th on row 9 is João Cavaca alongside Hinsai, 17th and 18th respectively. Andre Huska alongside Killian Ryan Meenan on row 10, 19th and 20th position. And then it is going to be 21st and 22nd. We'll get them up in just a second. But I mean, I can't believe 3 seconds, you know, for the 30. Alex, it's just incredible because, you know, you've got Paul Batty in 21st and then Kevin Niles, but everybody, almost everyone within that 2-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite impressive, you know, when we saw the onboard from Matt from Zancho Simsport, Matt Webb, who was competing with us this evening. He's running in the number 8 Bentley. You know, it was just quite clear to see that, okay, that lap was a 1:59.8, but then to see the likes of Petrochenko, Richter, Prendergast, you know, a whole host of others. Lazarnov up there in the 101 Jaguar, the second best, you know, to see 2 Jags in the top 5, only bettered by a McLaren, which is probably the newest car out of the quartet this evening. But then you look at the leading Bentley, you know, in 22nd position, the number 400 of Kevin Niles, and then a little bit further from that, you've got the number 99 of Simon Ramsayer in 24th, then 25th. You've then got Martin Ulrich from Denmark in the number 41. You know, so it's not been easy for the Bentleys. But as we very well know, David, times are for show, points are to go, and it's where the race really, really counts this evening here on the Sim Grid.
It absolutely is. I couldn't put it better myself, Alex. We've got the cars on the grid then. We've got about 3.5 minutes left to go, and let's take you through the final 16 cars then. As I said, it is in 21st position, Paul Batty, and then as Alex just said there, Kevin Niles in 22nd place. 23rd is Lorenzo Rappa alongside Simon Ramsayer in the Bentley. It's another Bentley of Martin Ulrich in 25th position, with Klaus Neiring in the Aston in 26th. It's then Pasquale De Luca in 27th, and then Vasily Roskov in 28th position in the other Aston Martin. Matis Kopp and Mikhail Maranowski in 29th and 30th. We've got Matt Webb and our our good man, our very own boy himself, Connell Courtney in P32. I'm very happy with that. That is a good result for Connell. Fabio Esvedo in 33rd. You've got Luke Francis in the Bentley in 34th. You've got Alexander Dorica in the Bentley in 35th. And at the back of the grid, Dan Mulholland in the 777 Aston Martin. But it's all about the front. How many cars, Alex, do we think are going to survive the turn one?
I'm just waiting until they get past the first lap, David. I mean, you know, think of it this way. Okay, we've got on the Silverstone British Classics here on the sim grid tonight. Okay, we've got 2 mandatory pit stops. They are required and they can be taken at any point. So strategy really going to play a part this evening. You know, let's not count out the Bentleys. They've got the biggest fuel tank out of all 4 cars here this evening. So then they can play the long game. You know, at the end of the day, it's a case of what the drivers decide to do. They will be the ones, you know, playing their cards from their chest, so to speak. So, you know, they don't necessarily have to put in for fuel or for tyres. You know, there could be some cars that, with the Bentleys, they could do maybe one stop without fuel, the second one they take tyres and fuel. So it is about the long game, but obviously the fuel consumption is going to be another one to think about. Also the tyre degradation, the cooler temperatures are going to help the tyres over time. But then when you look at cars such as the Bentley, which I think is actually the heaviest out of all 4, I mean the Aston Martin itself is nearly £3,000 worth of brute V12 power there, and that can shred rear tyres in an instant. So it's very difficult to see who's going to end up coming through Copse Corner for the first time of asking whether we're going to have a few calamities along the way is anyone's guess, but it's just about how calm and composed everyone keeps it going into Copse for the very first time.
Well, what's for sure is we're about to find out very, very shortly. Before we do that, though, it's time for a very quick commercial break. A very warm welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here at the SimGrid British Classics event. We hope you've all had a wonderful Christmas, and we have definitely got some festive action for you tonight. It's Dave Christie here with Alex Goldschmidt, 10 seconds away from the green flag lap. Alex, I'm a little bit nervous, I've got to be honest. What about yourself?
I think at the end of the day, why don't you go and pay for dinner whilst I warm up the Jaaaag? Sorry, yes. I had to take that instant classic from Jeremy Clarkson and Top Gear, if anyone remembers that one. But now, looks like Petrochenko's leading them onto the formation lap here at the fantastic 3.66 mile circuit that's been in use in this current iteration since 2011, known as the Arena Grand Prix circuit. But obviously with British GT, we use the national pit straights rather than the international pit straights like the World Endurance Championship, Formula 1, MotoGP, amongst others.
Certainly is the case. So 90 minutes of unadulterated GT3 action coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. As Alex has said before, please, if you could hit that subscribe button if you are watching on YouTube, and give us a little like as well. That'd be super, super awesome. As well, you can see at the top right there all of our social media details: Facebook, Twitter, and our very friendly Discord server. If you see the action tonight and think, yeah, I want a little bit of this action, then don't fear. Get yourself over to thesimgrid.com and get yourself signed up for our many, many championship races that we host here at SimGrid. And if you fancy a little bit something different as well, head to beta.thesimgrid, that's beta.thesimgrid.com, and you can take part in our brand new massively popular daily races series. We do them on GT3s, GT4s. They've been so popular, we've now had to start hosting 2 races per session for each of the events, so multiple events per day, and really bringing that competition factor to the sim. So we're loving it. We love that you guys are enjoying it so much, but more of that later through the night. Petrochenko then, doing his best to get the tyres warmed up here as we head into the chicane. Alex, what do you think is going through the drivers' thoughts as they come through Club and through Vale?
I think one of the biggest things is getting the start right. That's the biggest thing right now, because even though we are in the sim racing world here on Assetto Corsa Competizione here, David, it's about nailing it. It's about anticipating what your opponents are going to do. And for a fact, Petrochenko is going to make sure that Bastian Richter has absolutely no hope in hell of trying to throw it up the inside through Copse on the very first lap. And the thing is that the drivers really do need to watch their P's and Q's, because anyone that goes out of line during the start will automatically be pinged for a drive-through. And, you know, if there are incidents, they will be live stewarded, and of course we'll get the penalties on the screen as they happen from race control. So it is about just keeping your elbows in for the moment, but when it really starts kicking up another gear is once we start getting into a rhythm and then the strategy plays itself before our very eyes. It's going to be difficult to see what the drivers are really thinking. You know, there's probably some that are sort of like thinking, oh, I'm not looking forward to this, and there's some like saying, come on, just bring it on, let's just go for it.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good point to make, because some of these drivers may be very, very good in a time trial or a qualifying situation, but it's whether they can have that consistency over the 90 minutes. Lots and lots to think about strategy-wise. And it's one thing planning for it, but, you know, there's so many variables that can be thrown into the mix here as the cars come down towards Brooklands. And now we are ready to go green here at Silverstone, the home of British motorsport, round through Luffield, and the cars organising themselves into double file. It's going to be Yuri Petrochenko ahead of Bastian Richter, side by side, leading the field off for 90 minutes of festive fun here at the sim grid. David Christie and Alex Goldschmidt taking you through live all of the action here tonight. And here we go then, the cars in position, poised, ready to go. We are waiting with anticipation for the green flag to fly. Here we go, it's the run down towards Copse. So nervous. And there we go, the green flag flies, away we go, and 36 cars come roaring down to turn one, Copse corner. It's already happened, and Bastian Richter gets the better of Petrochenko, and they're side by side going through into Maggots and Beckett's.
Yeah, it looks like Prendergast is hot on the heels of the pair in front, but Petrochenko absolutely nailed it. He got along, you know, Richter went alongside Lozanov trying to close on Prendergast, and look how big the train is already. That's the lead train going down, and that's going down through Hanger straight down. Look at the gaggle of cars coming out of Chapel Curve, 2-3 abreast at some points. But this is absolutely crazy. Prendergast, I think, is sizing up a move up the inside of Richter in the early goings, going through Stoke Corner. And Richter runs a little bit wide. Prendergast run on the back bumper, going through Vale and into Club Corner. Is he going to try and send it around to the outside? No, he doesn't.
Yeah, thinks better of it, and patience is one of the things that a lot of these drivers really know, as we've got a big pile-up through Vale Corner there. A lot of cars involved at the back there. Pasquale De Luca caught up in that one, managed to escape though, but yeah, that was from about P24 backwards that were caught up in that big melee. And apart from that, Alex, I've got to be honest, I mean, this is the one bit that I really love about the sim grid. It's just so awesome to see that amount of cars making it through. Several cars, we've got big contact going off there, and I think that was that Nichols? It was. So Nichols is off. But anyway, back to the point I was making. I mean, so many cars and relatively clean on that first lap.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing, because yes, this might be a 90-minute sprint, as Matt Webb is now trying to close on the 287 McLaren of that is Fabio Acevedo from Portugal, as they're now going through into Luffield. So the leaders will have already be on their way to complete the first lap, which means that Petrochenko is leading at the minute, 1.2 seconds to the good ahead of Bastian Richter, with Kieran Prendergast closing on the German's heels, going through, and runs a little bit wide coming out of Copse Corner, and you've got Lozanov just behind. And there looks like there's been a couple of drivers heading into the pits, I believe. That might be as a result of that damage. Look, there's an absolute gaggle of them. I count 6, David.
Yeah, that's Nipples, Rappa. Couldn't quite see who else we've got in there, but that's 4 cars that we've got into pit lane already, and that does make sense, to be honest. If their strategy has been compromised in any way, and you can take your pits at any time, why not?
Yeah, definitely the case, but you know, the top 4 starting to break away. Lozanov has now got a gap of around a second ahead of the number 14 of Italy's Alessandro Foccia in the Aston Martin. Then you've got, just behind him, you've got Cormac Ryan Meenan from Ireland in the number 12. They're having a ding-dong battle. And then Mike Veerman in the 142. He's rounding out the top 10. He's got Luca Tavanari in the 3rd highest placed Jaguar at the moment. And he's got Eric Diaz, I believe. That's in the 64 Aston Martin. Eric from the United States. So we do have a truly multinational field here at the Sim Grid for the British Classics. But just to hear those epic sounds from this quartet of GT3 iconic machinery here at Silverstone, there's nothing better a sound, eh?
Oh, I just absolutely love it. I really, really do. It sounds so, so good as we see Mike Veerman in that Aston. I mean, the Aston itself has got such an iconic sound. We love the Jaag for the heavy, monstrous engine that it's got, but the Aston itself, I mean, you can tell that thing a mile off, can't you?
Yeah, well, funny enough, I've just been noted, a big thank you to Mike Hamlet, one of the guys behind SimGrid. He's just informed us that Richard Lindhorst from Germany in the 111 was actually off at Abbey on lap 2. So Lindhorst will have a bit of a recovery drive, as they say, a top gear from the rear. So Mike Veerman in the 142 Aston battling away, and with quite a few other drivers, and that includes Diaz just behind. There is Niels van der Keukel from the Netherlands, and he's battling away with Cormac Ryan Meenan, and then they've got Alessandro Foccia. So look, it's not getting that easy out there, and we might be just under 5 minutes completed in this 90-minute encounter here at Silverstone, David, but they are absolutely going foot to the floor, pedal to the metal.
Yeah, this is in no way or form an endurance race, Alex. This is a 90-minute sprint race. It's an all-out dash for the cash. There is no, pausing or holding off or anything like that. It's just absolutely foot to the floor and just gut it every single lap. That's what I love about these drivers, and they deliver in so many of the different series that we see here. Right, this is a replay. What are we going to see here? We can see a yellow flag just flying in the background. This is the 111 then of Richard Lindhorst, and it looks like that's on the run down to Vale. Now, does he just snatch the brakes on the entry to the corner there?
No, that was
into it.
Yeah, that was Peter Hennenberg from Denmark. He just absolutely bandside from behind. Watch closely. Oh, they clash again. And that is going through Luffield and Woodcote. And, well, no, that was going through, my apologies. That was going through, got so excited there, I got my corners wrong, through Club and Abbey. So, yeah, as one good shove deserves another. There's the big spin. There's the big spin. Just loses the back end. They're pushing over 120 miles an hour in 4th gear. And one of the key points here, with the bigger cars here, David, tyre strategy is going to come into a factor. So what Lindhorst has already done is he's scrubbed those tyres, and if he's got a flat spot, if he's pitted early, he's done himself a favour.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about this sim, is that when you've got a flat spot, because your wheel starts vibrating wickedly to tell you which wheel it is. But this is Secure Ludvigsen in the Laser Boys 103 outfit. I was complimenting it earlier for that striking fuchsia pink paint job. That's literally just been a couple of mouse clicks when designing that paint. Here we go, another replay then. This is the start then. This is the 99 making its way around. I believe this is going to be the pile-up then that's caused all of the chaos. This is Simon Ramsayer, and he's just overcooked it in the Bentley. Tried to go too hot into Vale and just caused all sorts of carnage behind him, Alex.
Yeah, Areza Abrahamian was one of the people. Actually, he literally had to do a bit of a sideways drift, as it looks like Rejda is closing on Petrochenko. The gap now just under 0.4 of a second as they hurtle their way through Abbey.
Yep, that's exactly what I was kind of making that funny little noise at, because that gap was just under a second. It's now 0.3 of a second and closing quite fast. Now, has something happened to Petrochenko, or is Richter just incredibly fast in that Jaguar? we talked about tyres, and to be fair, Alex, I think, not making light of it, but I think the Jags are going to have their own tyre factory here at the circuit with them, because that heavy engine is going to go through tyres at a rate of knots.
Yeah, well, we're just going through a replay now, David, with the number 23 Aston Martin of Killian Ryan Meenan. And this is where he's going to have... Right, now, this is where he's gone through Chapel. Look, he's lost it. Dirt on the tyres, gone grass tracking. Back end steps out to the right-hand side, and he caught that. Oh, that was very, very lucky. And then he spins. And also, seems like there's some we've just been informed there's some variation of pit stops of anywhere between 15 to 20 seconds. And Nick Nippels from the Netherlands dropped from P6 at the start to P28, but he's already made one of his mandatory 2 pit stops. And now Bastian Richter has lost a bit of time. On the previous lap, I noticed that Petrochenko did a 35.673, and Richter was quite a considerable amount faster, nearly 0.7 of a second quicker. Look how close he is. That is going through Stoke Corner, and now that McLaren coming under the vengeance of the Jaag that has got its claws out. Sorry, I had to take a playbook from your side there, Mr. Christie, but you can just see how planted that Jaguar is. Petrochenko, hopefully that car will come to him as the race proceeds, and you know, we're fast approaching the conclusion of the first 10 minutes, but those dark clouds overhead look a bit menacing, in my honest opinion.
I'm from Scotland, buddy. We're used to that. That's just a Tuesday afternoon. That's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Back to the point in hand you were making about the Jaag, though. For me, driving that thing is very similar to the Bentley. It loves the extra weight of having, say, a full tank of fuel. That's where it does its absolute best. If you get that light on fuel, that thing is going to be absolutely horrific around the track here. This is Cormac Ryan Meenan, stuck in between a sandwich right now of Aston Martins. He is the Aston Martin filling as well, because you've got Fokker in the number 14, and then you've got Niels van der Kekelt in the 47 Aston Martin as well. Picture in picture, and it looks like Niels van der Kekelt going to try and go up right the inside. What a move! Wow!
Yeah, but he hasn't got it, because Cormac Ryan Meenan had the switch back on the Dutch driver going through into Luffield as they entered into Brooklands. Van der Kekelt was very, very committed to that. He was very brave, and look how close Ryan Meenan got to the barriers coming out of Woodcote. And Van der Kekelt looking for a sniff up the inside through Copse, but thinks better of it.
Wow, what a defensive play there from Cormac Ryan Meenan there. That was a great cutback, as you pointed out there, Alex. You saw that one coming a mile off from Niels van der Kekelt, the attempt. And this is what I love about watching these guys in the different championships time in, time out. You get to know that both of these gentlemen are very, very composed, very, very methodical. So Niels wouldn't have put that car in a place where he didn't think there was an honest chance of getting it through, and rather than just firing it to the inside and blocking it off, Cormac knew that he could take the speed round the outside. So we've got some penalties already coming in, and we'll get an eye on that just very shortly. In fact, actually, here we go. We have already got a 15-second penalty for car number 99 for contact between the 99 and the 41. That would have been on lap 1. So that is Simon Ramsay, and the Bentley kind of saw that one coming on Martin Ulrich. And then you've also got a drive-through penalty for car number 15, and that's the instance involving 24, the 400 and the 15. So that is Paul Batty from France that gets the drive-through penalty, and that was the incident with Klaus Neuring and the 400 of Kevin Niles. So already race control being quite strict is the good word, because it just keeps everybody in line, doesn't it?
Well, I think it does at the end of the day, because if they don't, then someone's going to get away with something, and the first thing you're going to have is a protest. So by having the live stewarding here on Split 1, as we still see Cormac Ryan Meenan, the number 12, battling away with the number 47 of the Netherlands' very own Niels van der Kekelt from Sidemax Motorworks, and they've got Alessandro Foccia from Italy in the 14, and look who's closing. Luca Tavanari in the Jaguar in 8th place. He's only 1.1 second behind this battle, David, but the biggest thing is, whilst these three are battling, Tavanari's got the ringside seat, hasn't he?
Yeah, Luca is a very, very fast driver. Again, one of the regulars here at SimGrids, and he will I've been complimenting Niels van de Kelt, Cormac Ryan-Meenan, and Fokker for their precision and their thoughtfulness and their tact and poise. Tavanari isn't really one of those that I would put into that conversation. Luca just absolutely sends it round. So watch for the rookie monsters on this lap, because it's personal best from what it's looking like here.
Yeah, well, considering he's on pace with the leaders, with Petrochenko and Richter. They've both respectively done a 1:58.773, a 1:58.884. Tavanari, a 1:58.893. So that just shows how competitive that car is. We're on board with Cormac Ryan-Meenan in the number 12, and he's trying to close on Foggia from Italy up the inside, going through into Village. Oh, they clash door panels, and the Italian has no other alternative but to drift wide. And that, Van der Kerkel, like a rat up a drain pipe, he gets round the outside through the loop and into Aintree, down onto the Wellington Straight. He runs a little bit wide. He's on the back bumper of the number 12 as they head towards Brooklands. Wow.
Just reading between the lines, I'm watching Fletcher there, and the body language of that car, the body language of the way that he's using that car to aggressively defend his position. I'm not liking that. I'm really not liking that. I think purely for the fact that something's going to happen. If he continues like that, he will end up falling foul of race control, absolutely guaranteed. But at the moment, we can see as Luca Tavanari just pulling out to the side and maybe a little bit of mind games here. I think Fletcher has got a little bit of red mist now. He just needs to calm down, keep it through, because they're side by side, and I don't have a good feeling about this.
Oh, that's through Maggots, and Tavanari sends it up the inside through the second part of it. He was truly committed there, but I think with Foggia, that was a case of the Italian red mist came down when he went side by side with Cormac Ryan-Meenan. Niels van der Kerkel was like a scalded cat on a hot tin roof, and he got round the Italian, and then Tavanari just went, I'll just wait and bide my time. And he's actually done a very good thing there, Tavanari, because he waited until Maggots to go for it, and made sure that he got past his countryman quite nice and cleanly there.
Yeah, he certainly did, and it was a well thought out, well executed move there from your seventh place man, Luca Tavanari. Here is Mikołaj Manalski in the My Car is Pink. I love that. That's simple, straight, bold, to the point. In the number 81 machine in 18th place. Hang on, right. Let's pause a second here, because right underneath him is Connell Courtney in 19th position. That lad started in 31st position. What a stellar drive from Connell Courtney. We haven't seen him yet, but he's absolutely holding his own right now. I am very, very. I'm not going to say anything because he's starting to look a bit wobbly there. So let's not jinx him. But yeah, what a brilliant effort from Connell.
Yeah, he's running in the mid 2 minutes at the moment, so a consistent pace from him at the moment in the number 18 Jaguar. So one of, from my count, 6 Jaguars here on this field. So he's holding himself pretty well. He's round sort of mid-part in the field itself as we start to get a form of rhythm, as we've now had, 16 minutes of this 90-minute race completed here, as it looks like the number 14 of Foggia has gone into the pits. So to serve a first mandatory pit stop goes the number 14 Aston Martin, and that has allowed, look, the battle now is being led by Cormac Ryan-Meenan, Niels van der Kerkelt, and then Luca Tavanari, who's run on the back bumper of the 47 from Sidemax Motorworks. This is going to be an absolutely epic battle, and the Jaguar now starting to come onto its own, because look at the track temperature, David. It's dropped by a degree, so the cooler temperatures are going to help the tyres in the long run.
Yeah, it's going to help the longevity. There we go, that's the word I was looking for. Longevity of the tyres and protect them just that little bit longer. But look at Tavanari. I mean, here's me saying that he's quite impatient and just sticks it in. But that's 2 separate laps now where he's had the chance to just throw it up the inside, and he's thought better of it and wants to wait for his time, wants to wait for his opportunity right now. So cracking little battle for 5th, 6th and 7th place right now.
Yeah, we've also had a DNF. Vasily Roskov from Russia has DNF'd. Matt Webb has gained 14 positions. So he started P30. He's now up into 15 now. So up from 31st to 16th position goes Matt Webb from Sancho Simsport. So we've got Connell. Connell has now gone up for 40. He's now up to 18th position is Connell Courtney. And then also another driver on the move, the 777. Aston Martin of Great Britain's Darren Mulholland. He started stone dead last, David, 36th.
Yeah, that is a heck of a recovery drive there from the 777 of Mulholland there. You love seeing underdog stories like that, like Darren, where, you know, at the back of the garage you think, oh, what's the point? And, you know, you just stick in at it, and within 19 minutes you're already you know, a quarter of the way through the field. So excellent little drive there. I can't stop looking at this battle for 5th, 6th and 7th place here. Cormac Ryan Meenan ahead of Niels van de Kekelt and Luca Tavanari. This is a cracking little outside view of Bastian Richter in 2nd place. That gap is stabilised now at about 5/6 of a second between McLaren in front of Petrochenko, and Petrochenko just, you know, cracking in the solid lap times, 158, 158, 158, 159, 158. Consistency, Alex, here is so key tonight.
Yeah, but not just Petrochenko, it's also Bastian Richter. You know, he's been running in the high 158.7s. Okay, the gap is about 0.6 of a second, but Bastian Richter is keeping himself in the game. You can't count out you know, Prendergast either in P3. You know, those top 3 drivers are covered by effectively what, less than 2.5 seconds, and he's consistently running in the high 158.8s. So these 3 drivers, I mean, Lozanov in the Jaguar, he's getting quicker and quicker by the moment. You know, the Jaguar has just put in a 1 minute 59.355. Cormac Ryan Meenan has done a personal best in sector 2. You know, you've got to look at all the drivers down at the bottom of the field as Niels van der Kerkholt again closes up on Cormac Ryan Meenan. This is bringing in the likes of Luca Tavanari. Then you've got the 142 of the Netherlands, Mike Veerman. And then you've got Cifuentes from Spain in the number 17 Aston Martin, currently running P9. And then the USA's very own Eric Diaz in the number 64 Aston Martin. Now, there is... It looks like Cormac Ryan Meenan is the cork on the bottle here, David. Look, Van der Kerkholt absolutely closing, and he's going to try and go side by side through maggots. That was never going to work, and he digs up a little bit of grass. Also, we've just had another notification about a stop-go 30 being issued now for an incident on lap number 2, and that was involving cars 14, which was Foccia from Italy, and then the number 24 of Nyring from Denmark, and then the 888 of Vasily Roshkov. So a stop-go 30 goes to Nyring from Denmark for avoidable contact.
Yeah, that's not what you want to have so early in the race. I mean, that is essentially a second pit stop that you're having to take, and you've got the pit entry and exit time as well. Picture in picture again here at the sim grids. In the main picture, top left, is your battle for the lead. That is Yuri Petrochenko ahead of Bastian Richter, the McLaren, fighting off the Jaaaag right now, and that Jaaaag is close right up to your race leader. And then in the bottom right you can see the battle for 5th, 6th, 7th and also 8th, 9th, 10th involved in that one now. That is Cormac Ryan Meenan, Niels van de Kekelt, and look at that, that's Luca Tavanari having a little bit of a look up the inside of Niels van de Kekelt. He was waiting there very, very patiently, thinks better of it, and they're off down to the Wellington Straight there. What a race we've had so far. 22 minutes gone in the race, and it feels like we've done about 45 minutes already, Alex.
Yeah, very much the case. It's still all to play for, and you know, we've already seen some of the drivers in the top 23. I only count 2 of them. Nipples from the Netherlands in 21st, and then Foccia from Italy in the number 14. They're currently running P21 and P22, so they're trying to get the jump on the opposition, but with the pace that they're showing at the minute, I mean, you can just see some of the battles. There's Hinsai from Ricky Monsters in the number 5 McLaren, He's got, that looks like Richard Lindhorst in number 111. Yep, the Neapolitan Aston Martin, as I'm going to nickname that. Talking about ice creams, that's making me hungry now.
Yeah, I like that, Alex. We'll keep that one, the Neapolitan.
Yeah, well, it's a shame it's not on an Italian thoroughbred, but hey ho, we'll take that one.
You know, we're not fussy here at the SimGrid, what can we say? An hour and 7 minutes left to go, and what a cracking British Classics race we've had so far. It feels a bit weird using that name, British Classics, when you've got brand spanking new GT3 machines from the past decade, but we're gonna keep on to it anyway. Now, that is the second time in a row that Niels van der Kekelt going very, very wide there at Copse Corner there, so he's going to have to watch himself for track limits. It doesn't matter if he's lost, won't actually penalise him for it, but he does have to kind of watch out, because it can be your friend and then it can just catch up on you very, very quickly. And keep an eye on Luca Tavanari as well, Alex. He is desperate to try and keep himself into this action right now.
Yeah, very much the case. It's just about keeping it nice and tidy. You know, they've got to cross the T's, dot the I's, and one small mistake, if you get that third track car, that is absolutely... first of all, that'll be disappointment, but you know, when they're doing a 90-minute sprint around here at Silverstone in classic GT3 machinery, it is about keeping it nice and clean, because if you start making mistakes, you know, the drivers in the latter third of this race, okay, they may have already, you know, spent hours and hours on the sim trying to get it ready for this event. It's when you come through that extra bit of adrenaline, that extra bit of pressure, that's when mistakes can be made. And when you get physical and mental exertion, this does happen in the sim racing world as much as it does in real life, and I'm sure you can testify to that one, David, that's where mistakes can happen. And if the drivers have done the right thing by working their strategies, looking at multiple scenarios, they'll do their level best.
Yeah, absolutely. I can 100% back you up on that one from my experience in other platforms on doing the 24 Hours of Daytona in VR. It is just immense, the pressure, the exhaustion you feel after your stints. And, you know, doing I think it was hour 18 to 20, and it's pitch black in the sim, it is just mind-boggling. And then you've got the real-life experience to compare that to the 24 hours as well. And I've got to say, it's actually more tiring in the sim than it is in real life, because with the sim, you know, there's very limited opportunity to get up and get fresh air and go and have a walk and stuff like that, whereas obviously you're out and about at the circuit and you can kind of do your own thing and get a little bit of rest. It's very difficult to do that with the computer screens here, but thankfully these 90-minute races, it's a little bit more exhausting, because you just give everything. You don't have to keep anything in reserve for, you know, another stint that you've got to do later on in the day. So for these guys to be putting this pace in, and I mean, this is qualifying pace, this is every single lap for these guys, qualifying pace, 158, 159, 2 minutes. I don't think I've seen anybody, with the exception of maybe some of those that are going into the pits, you know, over the 2 minute and 1 mark. That is just remarkable to be doing that for 12 laps in a row.
You want to know what's even more remarkable here, David? Yuri Petrochenko and Bastian Richter, this is their first ever event for SimGrid, with SimGrid. Lozanov is the Split 2 champion, currently running in P4 of the Academy Cup, finishing, he had 4 firsts and a second in the 5 races. Niels van der Kekelt recently won the RRC 24 Hours of Kyalami, held just before Christmas. So the depth and breadth of this talented field, as we now go back to the Dutch driver in the 47. He's being hustled by Tavanari in the Jaguar. There are 3 Jaguars in the top 10 at the moment, with Ludvigsson from Iceland being very close. He's about 3/10 off of America's Eric Diaz, and possibly could make it a 4th. There goes. Now, is that the move from Ludvigsson? He's got up the inside, and that is going through Stowe. A bit of a run wide there from Diaz, but Ludvigsson has got the move done. That puts 4 Jaguars into the top 10 with just 63 minutes remaining.
what a move. The confidence that he had on the brakes there to absolutely send it up the inside of Stowe corner there. Great move there, and brilliant save from Sigurd Ludvigsson there. But back to the action then. Cormac, Ryan Meenan, and this gap is its little group has just opened up very slightly. Niels van de Kekelt getting a little bit of breathing room from Luca Tavanari just behind him. The gap was 0.3 of a second. It's now even less than that. In fact, no, it's went up to 0.8 of a second. So Niels van de Kekelt's fallen off the back of Ryan Meenan, and so has Luca Tavanari as a consequence of that as well. Now, I wonder if Bastian Richter's tyres now are starting to give up the ghost, because that has been the second lap in a row now. We've seen him...
Well, sorry to cut across you there, David. Killian Ryan Meenan just went up the inside of the 111 of Richard Lindhorst, and that was definitely a move. I'm not too sure if there was a room being closed, but Lindhorst just got the side of the left-hand side of Ryan Meenan's car, and that, I think, was going into Village there and through into the loop. So Lindhorst gets the receiving end of a touch from Ryan Meenan, and that's where, if mistakes like that start to creep in, if that gets a ping from race control and they give the number 23 a penalty, that could be his possibility of a top 15 finish, and probably pretty much sweep that under the carpet there.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on with that one, especially with the pit stop window going to be opening very shortly. And of course, we say pit stop window, we don't mean an actual pit stop window, because the drivers can take their pit stops whenever they like. But the ideal, the perfect line, I would say, would be around about the hour mark, and then about the half-hour mark as well, just to make sure that you've got the freshest possible attempt that you can do. Some drivers might even do 45 minutes to go and then 15 minutes to go, just to give that extra boost at the end there. But we'll see how that one pans out. This is back with Alexander Pollock for the Reforged Racing number 6 outfit, trying to chase down Fokker. What a fall from grace the number 14 machine has had, because Alessandro Fokker was up in 5th and 6th place at one. In fact, no, he was up in 4th place and has fallen all the way down after that contact, after that red mist descended, and then he took the pit stop. So that's the thing he's got in his defence on that. But I do wonder how much that's compromised him.
Well, you've got to consider this at the end of the day here, David. He started in P5. Okay, it's a long race. There's an hour left to go. If he's repaired that car and that car has got no damage on it, I'm just going to have a quick check on his lap times at the moment. He's been running in the low 2-minute high 2-minute 0.1 second bracket at the moment, and he's having to defend against Alexander Paulik from Germany. So it is two drivers really trying to go for position. In the meantime, Mulholland has pitted. Also, I've noticed that the number 15 of Francis Paul Betty in the 15 Aston Martin has pitted. Mulholland has pitted. Azevedo from Portugal has also pitted. And you can now see that there have been quite a few drivers that have decided to go in for their pit stop. One of them was Nyring from Denmark, and I think he served his stop-go penalty. And you look now that Maranovsky in the 81 Aston Martin has also pitted from P16. So the first round of pit stops are around about the half-hour mark, but there are some drivers that are going to go very, very long indeed. And Diaz looks to be losing out a bit to Ludvigsson from Iceland at the moment.
Yuri Petrochenko is still setting the same speed of lap times that he's been doing all the way through the race. We see that second place, Bastian Richter, fallen off now about 0.8 of a second per lap that he's fallen away. 3 seconds now is the gap. So, I mean, the consistency from Petrochenko is just incredible.
Yeah, well, Killian Ryan Meenan, in the meantime, has been ordered by race control, and the number 23 to give back 18th position to Richard Lindhorst as a result of obviously that contact we saw a bit earlier on. A very good call there from race control. I'm 100% with them on that one. It is down to their deference, but you can still see it's quite cloudy, and the server time at 6:41 p.m. David, look at the track temperature and the air temperature. It is dropping like a stone.
Yep, that's another degree that it's dropped down. I'm going to be quite curious to see what he's going to do about giving this place back, because he's all over the back end of, is that Colin Courtney? It is. Connell's up in 17th place. Love it. Right, so he's all over the back of Connell, but he's got to give that place back. Now, it'd be interesting to see if there's an amount of time that he has to give that place back, especially now because Nipples is having a look up the inside. Oh, and that looks like almost contact between Nipples and Lindhorst. And if he's got to give that place back, this is going to be disaster for Ryan Meenan.
Look, Nipples trying to throw it around the outside. That's coming through Luffield on Lindhorst. Side by side now, the pair go through Woodcourt. And Ryan Meenan has now pitted, I believe. Yes, he's in the pits. So is Matt Webb in the 8 Bentley. Nick Nipples actually powers around the outside of Richard Lindhorst before they even hit Copse. And, you know, when you consider the fact that he was at P6, now we're going to have a look at a replay here. Now, this is the incident we were talking about where race control ordered Ryan Meenan. Look, he just banzais up the inside, bang.
Oh, so he's been given a 5-second penalty. He didn't give the position back, and he hasn't lost any time from when he was given the penalty. He didn't slow down or anything like that to give the position back. But seeing that replay again, I don't know. I feel a bit conflicted on that one, because for me at that point, I mean, obviously it's quite fast. We can maybe get another replay of it in slow motion or whatever. It did look like he was already alongside at that point, and it did look like, you know, that it was almost turned in on. But again, race control will have reviewed it from multiple angles, time and time again, to make that decision. But wow, that's a big decision.
Look at Richter. He's 4.2 seconds off of Petrochenko. So Petrochenko on lap number 18 with 56 minutes to go here, David. That McLaren is running in the 159, low 159s. Richter is about 6/10 off of him at the moment. He lost over 3/10 in sector 1, over 1/10.5 in sector 2, and 0.12 in sector 3. So that's a huge. Now we're going to have a look on board with Ryan Meenan in the car now. He goes up the inside of Lindhorst. Now this is going through into the corner. You can just see. Yeah, 100%. That was
on him there, purely because he did get in the inside, but you saw he locked up the brakes and the car was drifting left again.
Yes, about making that move, that overtake cleanly is Connell Courtney in the meantime, has pitted from 17th position. It's a great drive from him so far. You know, he's kept his nose clean as there's Spain's Javier Cifuentes, and he's closing on Veerman from the Netherlands in the 142, and not too far behind. There's that pretty in pink Jaguar X KRS GT3. That's Ludvigsen. And these three are covered by about just under a second. And here is Connell himself now coming through into that. Oh, that's a very nice sort of bright green. It's a bit of a play on the British racing green. It's the fluorescent racing green, if Jaguar were ever going to put that on one of their cars, as he now exits pit lane.
I think that's so Connell doesn't get lost on the track himself, so he always knows where he is. But yeah, excellent effort from him so far. So he pulls out into I think that's going to be what, P25 or something that he is at the moment. Might be a little bit further up after that, but so yeah, that's Tavanari getting a little bit feisty there and throwing it up the inside of Maranowski. So Maranowski certainly felt the brunt of that one.
Yeah, well, he's got Matt Webb closing on his back bumper as Alexander Paulik now closing on Alessandro Foccia from Italy. Well, this is very, very close indeed. That's coming through into Village, now into the left-hander at the loop before they power out and go through Aintree onto the Wellington Straight. They're going to be hitting around about 4th gear, 200 kilometres an hour on the exit. And you can just see, let's see if the Jaguar has got the legs on the Aston Martin. And Paulik has now got an absolutely good slipstream, but if he had gotten out of the corner a little bit quicker, I think he would have been on the back bumper of the Italian very, very quickly. We now switch to Peter Henneberg in the number 77 Aston Martin. He's got Eric Diaz from the United States just up ahead. It's less than a quarter of a second between the pair as they are now making their way down to Stowe.
53 minutes left to go in the race. Here is Luca Tavanari going to make another move on Killian Ryan Meenan side by side, and they were 5th and 6th on the track, but it's going to be up the inside for Luca Tavanari. What a move! That is how you hustle, ladies and gentlemen. Great move from Luca Tavanari, P23, and Killian Ryan Meenan still with an extra 5-second penalty.
Luca Tavanari, bravo, bravo, mille grazie, as they say. But yeah, in a Jaguar of all things, you know, at the end of the day, Tavanari has really been the one that we've had to keep our eyes on, and that just shows how quick the Italian is in the number 7 Jaguar. So I think at the end of the day, I think there's been quite a few drivers that have provided some surprises, and Tavanari has been one of them.
It certainly has, and I think it also proves just how fast that Jaag is after a pit stop with fresh tyres and a full tank of fuel. And this is the point I was making earlier. The Jaags are like the Bentley. They love that extra weight. They handle it so well, and they bring a lot of extra pace with it. But once you start emptying that fuel tank and the car gets lighter, Alex, they really don't like it. The handling goes all over the place. The throttle control is just disappears completely, and the throttle response is just so unpredictable. The Aston really doesn't have that problem, and obviously the McLaren doesn't have that problem as well. The McLaren is typically a very well engineered, light, nimble car. Maybe that in combination with the insane talent that we're seeing from Yuri Petrochenko would answer as to why the only McLaren in the top 10 is in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, I've just seen that Ludvigsen and Prendergast are both pitted. Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to centre of gravity, because it depends on the positioning of the fuel tank. You know, if it's towards the rear axle, that might help the back end sort of hunker down. But all of these cars, apart from the McLaren, are front engine rear wheel drive. The McLaren has the better weight distribution and the centre of gravity, and that's why Petrochenko is over 4.3 seconds in the lead ahead of Bastian Richter. We're now on lap number 20, and what the more interesting thing now is, David, is that everyone in the top 11 has yet to pit. Hinsai, the number 5 McLaren, currently 14th, and Richard Lindhorst in the number 111 Aston Martin in 16th have yet to pit either. So it's all starting to unravel itself. The strategy calls are starting to be played, but it's just dependent on who blinks first.
Yeah, and that is a big thing of the battle at the lead between Petrochenko and Bastian Richter. They are both kind of feeling the situation, trying to see where this is going to go. The other thing that I didn't actually factor into this, Alex, is traffic. Because at the moment, Petrochenko is clear, absolutely nothing in front of him, whereas Richter has the number 15 and the 225 of Paul Batty, and the 225 is, I will just tell you that in just a second.
221, that's Alexander Doricott, yeah.
So he's got them in front of him. So that's potentially costing him quite a lot of time, and I think that gap is now going to be over 5 seconds.
Yeah, sometimes going through back marker traffic, David, can be either a help or a hindrance. It has helped Yuri Petrochenko, but Bastian Richter, you know, now is getting onto back marker traffic. So both he and Petrochenko are coming into the same realm as now. I've just seen that the 142 of Mike Veerman from the Netherlands has decided to pit from 9th place, and the gap now is extending 4.7 seconds exactly between first and second.
So, we've already got a driver completed both stops. The number 6 of Alexander Paulik in the Jaag. So he's done both his stops nice and early. I think that's too early. I think he's going to really struggle towards the end there. But hey, look, when you're that far back, you know, it's a curveball, and it might pay off dividends for him.
Well, it depends if he's filled that with a full tank of fuel and put new boots on it. That car. Yeah, I've just had that confirmed. He's filled it to the brim, and he's put a brand new set of tyres on that Jaguar XKRS GT3. Paulik, I think, could be the first person that might end up having to do a splash and dash with about 5 to 10 minutes, maybe. And we've had a move, and that is Niels van der Kerkholt has got past. I think that is Cormac Ryan Meenan. He's got past him, so Niels van der Kerkholt making some inroads.
Yeah, P4 for Van de Kerkelt there. Really, again, we're used to seeing him well up the order there, so no surprises there. But they're still battling side by side, and look at that, that's going to be Cormac Ryan Meenan decide to say, no, thank you, I'm going to have that position back. So...
Yeah. No, it's not over. Look, it's not over yet. Look, Niels van der Kerkelt through the inside through Woodcote, powers up the inside of Cormac Ryan Meenan on the approach into Copse Corner, and the Flying Dutchman has done it. That's a great move from Niels van der Kerkelt.
Yeah, but he's got the drive out the corner there. Cormac Ryan Meenan with a stunning exit from Copse into Maggots and Beckett. What a move. Is that too much pace though? He tries to get on the brakes. That is absolutely legendary. What a move. And that was awesome stuff there.
Oh my goodness, I think these two, wow, mamma mia, I think is probably what Luca Tavanari would say if he was seeing it right now. That's what we're all saying at the minute, but look, Niels van der Kerkelt doing the cheeky thing of flashing the front fog lights at Cormac Ryan Meenan. They go through Stowe, now the rundown's through to Vale. Now this is where it's going to get interesting, David, because they're going to go into the braking zone. Niels van der Kerkelt looking up the inside through the left-hander, now into the double right through Club. If he gets a good run coming out of the second right-hander, they're going to be pushing about 170 k's on the exit in third gear. Now into Abbey. This is where it's going to require bravery from both drivers. If Niels van der Kerkelt wants to close up, he's going to try and do it towards Village in the braking zone, but it just depends on how far wide he runs. He doesn't on that particular occasion. But Cormac Ryan Meenan had his number going through Maggots. My goodness me, move of the evening here at the British Classics.
Yeah, that was a fantastic move as they exit Aintree just now and onto the Wellington Straight. Just over 45 minutes left to go in this race. And I've got to be honest, Yuri Petrochenko looks very much in control of this race right now. He just did a 1:58.938, and that was almost 2 seconds faster than Bastian Richter. Richter getting a little bit faster there now, just 0.7 of a second slower than your race leader. But that gap now, 6 seconds. As we see, that is into the pits goes Niels van der Kerkelt there, leaving Cormac Ryan Meenan out on track by himself.
I'm just wondering if he's going to try and do the undercut here, because the thing is now Cormac Ryan Meenan has to do a big push. He's got to really push hard. Yeah, I think we all agree with you, Bread Gone Bad, on the YouTube chat. Sick move. That was definitely a move that maybe might require me to take some tablets a bit later on, as Ludvigsen now closing on Veerman. This is the battle for 21st on the road, but obviously a few drivers not yet having completed their first pit stop, as we're nearly at the halfway point of this 90-minute race here at Silverstone. But it is Jaguar versus Aston Martin going down the Wellington Straight heading into Brooklands. And Ludvigsen, in comparison with Veerman, I'm just going to have a quick look at their times, David. Veerman, I think he just did a pit. Did he do a pit stop? He did. So that would have been a 2-minute 54.6. But Ludvigsen did a 1-minute 59.0. And that's, look at Prendergast's lap time there. 1-minute 58.7. He's the quickest driver out there. So keep your eyes on Prendergast in the number 10.
Yeah, Prendergast has got new boots on, looking very racy indeed. Now, here's another thought, actually. Here's a completely off-the-wall thought for you as well, because as far as I know, there's no minimum stop time for these pit stops. So
no.
Let's see if the driver goes in, say now, for a pit stop and takes on fuel and tyres. Obviously, the cars can handle another 45 minutes of racing. That then leaves one pit stop, which then technically could just be a case of, you know, almost a glorified drive-through penalty. They go through, stop in the box for half a second or whatever, start up again, get back out, and they've not actually cost themselves any more time than would necessarily be needed, but they've also saved themselves from taking on new tyres and more fuel.
I mean, the thing is that if you go into the pits, you stop, you're literally there a second, and then you go, no fuel or tyres. A tyre change is 30 seconds in the pits. You know, we've also had another couple of 3 DNFs. Nyring, Acevedo and Mulholland have all retired, so that is 4 DNFs out of the drivers that started this race over 3/4 of an hour ago. And you can now see Ludvigsen in the 103 still battling away with Veerman. They're still Oh, and Alessandro Focca has got a stop go 30 in for speeding in the pit lane there, David. His race has gone from bad to very, very bad indeed.
Certainly has. I think your race leader is into... No, he's not into the pits. I thought it was there. But what has happened to Bastian Richter, actually? Has he had a pit stop there? Because he's now... Yeah, so he's just come out the pit lane there. I was wondering why the gap had went up massively. So Bastian Richter blinks first then, goes into to pit lane. And I still can't get that Yuri Petrochenko is still doing these times. Granted, it's about 2 seconds off of what he was doing at the beginning, but 1:59.235 from your race leader when he's obviously low on fuel, and those tyres are starting to get a little bit past their best.
Yeah, very much the case. It's you know, the Jaguar was always going to be the car that was really going to be the heaviest out of the quartet, and really, you know, when you put the power down, the rubber's going to sort of like eke away at the amount of times as now Ludvigsen trying to go up the inside of Veerman, going through into Stowe. He goes up the inside on a second attempt. The pair goes side by side on the run down quickly to Vale. Veerman keeping his foot well and truly planted in the Aston Martin into club. Veerman looking towards the inside. Ludvigsen trying to get the switch back if he can, but that was a great defence there from Veerman. Knew exactly where to place the car at the right time.
Yeah, great move there. Your race leader into the pits there. Yuri Petrochenko then jumps into pit lane, and that means that Christian Lozanov, I believe, is going to be your provisional.
No, he's in the pits as well, David.
As well, yep.
So Cifuentes takes the provisional lead at the moment.
Wow. And again, that depends on where those drivers actually come out on the track. But Alex, I've got to be honest, I mean, I wasn't expecting this level of drama and excitement, you know, in the first half of the race. What do you think our viewers have got in store for the next 40 minutes?
Wait and find out are the words that I'm going to say round about now, because as soon as the pit stop strategies have been called by all the drivers, that's where it is properly going to be elbows out. You know, the thing is, if you give someone an inch, they're going to take a country mile here, David. And one of the guys that has really been doing that is Luca Tavanari, who's up into, I think, is that 10th or 11th position at the moment. So he's flying the flag for the Jaguar brand at the moment. And that is, I think, that's Cormac Ryan Meenan in front of him as they're going through Maggots and into Beckett's and Chapel. So, you know, I think it's still all to play for. Petrochenko has been the class of the field, as is Bastian Richter, but don't count out anyone behind them, because, you know, 15 minutes to go, we could have an absolutely brilliant fight on our hands, and I think both of us will probably need the defibrillators on standby.
They are well and truly kept as Luca Tavanari closes up very, very quickly to Cormac Ryan Meenan there. I'm also watching the leaders at the moment as I'm just seeing that Petrochenko just getting past one of the lapped cars. That lapped car would be the number 18 of Colin Courtney. So glad to see there was no mischief there, but that also means that the gap comes down very, very slightly, and I believe that gap is now down to about 5 seconds between your race leader Petrochenko and what would be provisional second place of Bastian Richter there. But obviously the cars still got to sort themselves out on track, and you know, Eric Diaz, he'll be very, very happy taking that race lead, as we hear that Niels van der Kelt doing a personal best there. Indeed he does, 1:59.157. That is, yeah, he'll be happy with that one.
Yeah, very much the case. He's currently running in P7. He's 2.4 seconds up the road from Cormac Ryan Meenan, who still has Luca Tavanari from Italy about half a second behind, as now the provisional leader at the moment, Eric Diaz from the United States, in the number 64 Aston Martin. It's now on lap number 26 here, David, as Cifuentes from Spain now has pitted, so that will move the likes of Petrochenko and Richter up into second and third respectively, and Tavanari really he's going all guns blazing, and I'm just trying to keep my eyes up in front. Now, who has Van der Kelt got in front? Is that Lozanov in the Jaguar?
We will find out. I think it is. I think you're absolutely might be. We'll just check on track, because I think that's one of the lapped cars that he's got in front of him just now.
Yeah, that's the number 14 Jaguar of Alessandro Foccia there, who is one of the back markers. He's not, as I said, his race has gone from bad to worse. But there we've got the pretty in pink Jaguar again. Veerman and Ludvigsen still battling over what is 9th position. These two have not given each other any quarter at all. But if you look down the order, Nick Nippels from the Netherlands, he's now completed both mandatory pit stops. He's up into P16 in the number 13 Aston Martin. And David, just keep an eye on his lap times. He's done a personal best in Sector 2, a 50.025. But his lap times, he's running in the high 158.9s at the minute.
Yeah, he's got a lot of pace in that car, and I think what you're gently alluding to is going to be absolutely the case, because he is guaranteed, if he can keep that pace up, easily into the top 10, because he is outclassing every single one of the 8 cars that are in front of him just now. So a lot of cars. A lot of pace. Now, Petrochenko, 158.317, fastest lap of the race, followed then closely by Bastian Richter, 158.323. So the two of them are absolutely firing shots left, right and centre right now.
Yeah, looks like Veerman dropped a wheel onto the grass at Abbey, and that allowed Ludvigsen in the 103 in the Jaguar to get past, as now we see the headlights ablaze on all the cars. Darkness starting to fall here at Silverstone for the British Classics here on the Sim Grid. Don't forget to give us a like the Facebook page, give us a follow on Twitter, also on Instagram, and you can also hit the subscribe and like button on this video, and also hit the notification bell for further updates from us here at the Sim Grid for further live streams coming soon.
Yeah, lots and lots of series coming up in the year ahead. 2021 is going to be an amazing year. And Alex, I mean, it's safe to say in some circumstances, you know, this year's been pretty much a year to forget. But for sim racing, especially here at the Sim Grids, it's been a fantastic year. And you know, sim racing's really benefited from this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, actually, one of the upcoming events, more female races brought to you in association by Thrustmaster, will head to Autodromo Nazionale di Monza on the 11th of January. Silverstone a week after. You've got the Endurance Cup coming up very soon, Zolder, round 3 on the 9th of January, amongst other things. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, you then got the Sprint Cup. You see all these advertisements coming up as I'm about to say my piece there. You know, we've got Monza on the 14th of January. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'd always had an interest in sim racing from a commentary perspective. But obviously with the current pandemic situation, that got quite wildly accelerated, as you very well know. And to be part of one of the many voices heard in the sim racing community, it's quite a pleasure to be able to have that opportunity to commentate on racing, and it feels exactly like the real thing.
Oh yeah, 100%. So our fantastic producer behind the scenes, Michael Hamlet, has done some calculations. He's got his old whiteboard out and the calculator and the abacus and the slide rule, and he's working out that Nipples could very well be on for a top 10 finish quite easily at this current pace. So we did say that there was a distinct chance of that, but again, more fuel being thrown onto that fire. And the pace that he's got right now, it's difficult to look past him for that. 158 constantly, and again, the only person that comes near him up the board is Luca Tavanari up in 8th place. He's doing almost identical lap time.
Well, considering the fact that Luca Tavanari is now only a second off of Cormac Ryan Meenan, that's a really good battle emerging there. Then you look down. Oh, and a fastest lap again. Look, Petrochenko absolutely flying, a 158.122. That's well over 2/10 quicker than the lap that he's just put in. So Petrochenko absolutely throwing caution to the wind as Mike Veerman has closed up again to Ludvigsen, having dropped a wheel onto the grass at Abbey. Let's try to get up close and personal with the Icelander here as they're now going down the wing complex, down the international pit straight into Abbey. This time, Veerman keeps it nice and planted into the left at Farm Curve. Now they've got the deep braking zone. Is that a driver? That's a back marker just up ahead. That's one of the Bentleys that I just see in front. So that's going to be rather interesting if that compromises Ludvigsen and hands an advantage to Mike Veerman from the Netherlands.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that one pans out, because the two of them just making their way around the circuit just now. That looks to be so that is Francis in the Bentley that's just in front of them, but doesn't seem to be making too much of an issue just now. I'll hold my reservation on that one, because it always seems to be the way that I'll say something like that and then they go and punt them off or something. But you know, you've got the blue flags there, and of course you have to have the obligatory GT3 flashing lights behind you, just to remind you that the drivers are here. It's important to remind the viewers as well, though, that pretty much all motorsport is different to what you see on the TV. As we see Mike Veerman going very, very wide there. You know, the likes of F1, where blue flags mean you essentially have to move over and slow down, let the other car through. Whereas in this, and all other motorsport, there is a faster car approaching. Do not block them, but the onus is on the faster car to overtake in a safe and controlled manner.
Yeah, through my experiencing of being a karting commentator over in Europe for the past 3 seasons, it's exactly the same thing. And you can now see that Francis gets out of the way, and that's through Stowe. So both Ludvigsen and Veerman don't get impeded, but Veerman's got a run going through now into Club. He could have, if he'd have got that little bit extra, maybe another car length behind, he could have gone for it, but then Ludvigsen would have had the racing line. He would have had that advantage. So I don't think this battle's far from over yet.
Yeah, he dips into the slipstream just now, and again, it's great to see as we see Cormac Ryan Meenan down in P7 has had a bit of a moment and rejoins just in front of them. So that was on the run down towards the loop.
Yeah, so that could have been, he could have had the same, you know what they say about lightning strikes twice there, David. I think he had a bit of a Mike Veerman complex going off at Abbey, I've just been informed, and he came in front of these two through Village and into the loop. So Ludvigsen and Veerman have a sniff at 8th position at the minute.
Yeah, crazy stuff. What's even more crazy is I think I actually got the general direction. Oh, look at that. Cormac Ryan Meenan is not something you want to see. And to be honest, from Cormac, that's not something we normally see from him. A very, very cool, calm, composed driver, and usually able to hit his marks time after time again. And Ryan Meenan going into the pits for his final pit stop.
Yeah, he'll be the first one out of the top 10 to have a green square against his race number. The highest other driver that's got that is Nipples in 15th. Then you've got Parlick in 19th. Also, don't forget about Kevin Niles in the 400 Bentley. He's running at the top 21. Then you've got Rappa in the number 16 Bentley. Lorenzo Rappa. So Matt Webber's just pitted from 18th. So that'll be his final mandatory pit stop. But the thing is now, David, we're about to get into the final third of the British Classics here at Silverstone. This is the crunch time. This is where the mistakes can't happen, and the drivers will start to get mentally and physically fatigued.
Well, you just pointed out something there, that the furthest place with the two pit stops is Nipples. Nipples is now taken over Ryan Meenan, so Nipples has got the undercut through that pit stop there. So incredible stuff. And I think we now have to actually have a little look at Nick here to see how far up the grid he can get, because this is a dark horse that we've got here, and there's not that much time between, say, the cars in front. You know, you've got Mike Veerman, Cormac Ryan Meenan obviously jumping down behind him, but say Peter Henneberg I think is in trouble, Sigurd Ludvigsen, even possibly Luca Tavanari. They're not that far away. In fact, I think it's 31 seconds between Nipples and Luca Tavanari. So yeah, this could be a very, very interesting final 30 minutes here.
Yeah, but Andre Ruska just up ahead in the 380. Look at the gap that look. Yes, I think as our good friend Mike Hamlet said to us just now, that 7th might not be out of the question. But look at the time that Nipples is actually taking out of Ruska. It was 3.1 seconds. It's under 2.5 now. And Nipples is actually, he's the dark horse because he's put in a personal best of a 1:58.644. I mean, we're even getting estimations, possibly even 6th at the end of this race, and we still got 28 and a half minutes to go, David. I mean, it's anyone's guess where Nick Nichols is going to end up at the end of 90 minutes, having that issue, starting P6, dropping all the way down to P28, and now being in the top 15.
Well, a lot of speculation and a lot of figuring out going on, but one thing that we don't have to figure out is who is in the lead of this race. Yuri Petrochenko still in the lead by 6 seconds over Bastian Richter there. I've got to be honest, I think this is now getting to the stage where this is looking in the bag for Yuri Petrochenko. It could change if there's a moment for Petrochenko or an issue, but I think consistently he's outpaced Bastian Richter. The only scare that we had was maybe 5 to 10 laps in the first stint where Bastian was within that 5-second lap where it was going in. We've got action with Eric Diaz in P4 at the moment, who is under all sorts of pressure there from Christian Lozanov there. P5, try to make the move around the inside there, tucks it up, surely not around the outside. That is a move and a half. It's not going to work. But Eric Diaz manages to live to tell the tale, because he's going to have the inside line as they come out through Woodcote and then on the run down the straight here towards Cops Corner. Wait a minute, what has happened there? Eric Diaz just lifts off.
I don't know. I think he just lost his bravery going through Cops Corner, but Lozanov had that absolutely planted coming out through Woodcote there, David, and he knew that he had the run on Diaz. He just waited for Diaz to blink. And yeah, it's Eric Diaz is actually on tyres that are degrading rapidly, so that could probably be the why he's. Oh, I've just been informed. Mike Hamlet has just told me these are exactly the same. These tyres on Eric Diaz's car have been going for nearly 65 minutes.
Oh, that's a bad throw of the dice then, because he needs to get in pronto. His lap times have been massively compromised here, as we saw. That was Niels van de Kekelt fighting off Luca Tavanari, and you know how I said anything can change in the next 30 minutes. Well, it's starting to do that, because Bastian Richter very slightly, but is managing to do it, takes 0.6 of a second off your race leader. Now, we saw that in the first stint, Alex, where once Richter had about maybe 8 to 10 laps in that tyre on the Jaaaag, it started to come to life, and that gap really did come down. We'll keep an eye on it, but it might not be over yet with Petrochenko. No,
there's still plenty to play for, and both have got a pit stop to make. So this is where Richter needs to make that. He needs to work. He needs to go to town and put in the laps. You know, look at it this way. Petrochenko, last lap was a 1 minute 58.8. He's put in a 1:58.398. Richter's just dropped off the boil a little bit there. The gap between them, 5.4 seconds exactly. Yeah, and Niels van der Kerkholt is actually being chased by Alessandro Focher from Italy there. So the thing is that is not for position there, nor will Focher get any permission by Niels van der Kerkholt to actually get past. Mike Veerman still battling away with Ludvigsen, and this is the battle for 8th place. But it is the pendulum is constantly swinging between Petrochenko and Richter, and then you look at Prendergast. Now, I did say keep your eyes on the number 10 of Kieran Prendergast in the Aston Martin. He's running in the high 59.9s. And then you look at Christian Lozanov in the 101. He's trying to close up, and he's about 6 seconds adrift. Then you've got Eric Diaz still on the same tyres for over an hour and 5 minutes. I have to say, the Stars and Stripes definitely making sure that Eric Diaz flies it proudly for the United States in the 64. But, I mean, to have those tyres, and I'm just going to have a look at his lap times. Not too shabby despite how degraded they are, David. He's running in the high 2-minute 9s.
Absolutely not. I mean, it's a respectable lap time for what it is, but given that it's 24 minutes left to go, Alex, I would have been in about half an hour ago getting brand new tyres on it. Meanwhile, we hear that Nick Nichols has got himself past Andre Hruska there for P13. So great move there for Nick Nichols to get himself up there. And again, he's just making that charge all the way through the field, potentially to get 7th place.
Yeah, so Petrochenko now goes on to lap number 34 here at the SimGrid British Classics at Silverstone, the home of British Motorsport. We're with Mike Veerman from the Netherlands, from Delirium Racing in the 142 Bernarda Yellow Aston Martin Vantage V12 GT3, 5,935 cc's of pure V12 displacement, naturally aspirated, roaring like a good one around here at Silverstone. 600 brake horsepower and 516 pounds-feet of torque, as that looks to be Ludvigsen going in for his final pit stop of the evening here on the SimGrid. It's not been a great race for Kilian Ryan Meenan, has it?
Yeah, it's kind of all went wrong. He was looking so well up there in that battle for 4th, 5th and 6th position, and then all just went south very, very quickly indeed. Part of it his own making, you've got to say, but yeah, he'll be doing his best to try and make his way back up there. Top 15 maybe on the cards for Kilian Ryan Meenan, but that's going to be an absolute push for him to recover that.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Kilian Ryan Meenan was just let past by Alexander Doricott there, so that's a change for position. Doricott and the Bentley still has one pit stop to have before the end of this race, as we're coming to just under 22 minutes to go. Alexander Pollock from Germany, though, in the number 6 Jaguar. That looks to be Ulrich in the Bentley just behind from Denmark in the 41. And that's the battle over what is 17th position. The Jaguar trying to fend off Crew's finest.
Just over 20 minutes left to go, and Alex, thank you so much for glazing over the fact that I was getting Cormac and Kilian mixed up, the two brothers. We'll just completely glaze over that fact entirely, but 20 minutes left to go, and what looked like the gap starting to come down between your two leaders, Yuri Petrochenko and Bastian Richter, I think is phased out, and I think it was actually the number 81 of Mikko Manowski getting not in the way, but just having to be gotten past by your race leader Yuri Petrochenko. So we've got another two cars in front, the 221 there of Alexander Doricott, and that is, I think, is that the number 9 of Mattis Kopf that's in front as well. So this is getting a very, very busy track that's going on right now.
Yeah, the biggest thing is that Niels van der Keukel needs to pass Eric Diaz as quickly as he can. If he can get the slingshot down the Wellington Straight, he's not close enough to the that's the Hanger Straight going into Stowe, because Eric Diaz is on really, really worn tyres, and that car is struggling. He's in the danger zone right now, and Niels van der Keukel, if he's got any opportunity at closing up onto the backs of the oh, that was very close indeed. Niels van der Keukel nearly into the back bumper of and that's Alessandro Fokker there trying to get his nose stuck in, where, if I'm completely honest here, David, it doesn't really belong, as they go through Abbey. Van der Keukel, if he can actually get past Diaz, he's got a chance at trying to close on Christian Lozanov in the 101. Now up the now that if he's going to go up the inside, that's through Village. Diaz keeps it planted. Now through into the left-hander at the loop. They're going to come round through Aintree. And this is where Niels van der Keukel needs to be. Down the Wellington Straight. He's got a real good run on the number 64. He's in the slipstream. He's going to pull out to one side. I think that might have been a tad slightly too early there for Van der Keukel, but he laps it late on the brakes. That's a brilliant move there, going through into Woodcote, and Alessandro Fokker tries to unlap himself, but Diaz is having absolutely none of it. But is Diaz going to go into the pits now with 19 and a quarter minutes still to go? I think he is. He's gone into the pits there. He's bailed out. Good call there.
Wow. Fokker, though, I mean, I know that he's entitled to try and keep the foot in there, but I mean, that could have went really, really badly wrong through absolutely no need. But as it was, danger averted. I think that Diaz has really, really shot himself in the foot, staying out this late and losing, at least a second a lap on those worn tyres. it is what it is. We'll just see how he can recover that. But there you go, Nick Nichols into the top 10, Alex. And yeah, we didn't see that one coming 20 minutes ago. We started seeing the potential for that. That is awesome driving there for Nick Nichols, and an absolutely bold move.
Yeah, the Dutchman's clearly flying at the moment, but I'm wondering how much fuel he's got left on board that Aston Martin. You know, and to be completely honest here, Nick Nichols, he is 7.6 seconds behind Jaaaag from Portugal in the number 33 McLaren. Then you got the number 77 of Denmark's Peter Henneberg. You know, that top 6, I don't think it's out of the question for the Dutch driver, but it's got to be really, really calm and precise. He's not pushing the car crazy, and that's going to help with the fuel saving. That's also going to help the tyres in the longer run of things here, David.
Yeah, really, really well. Just to give you an idea, the gap between 7th place of Mike Veerman and Nichols there is going to be, I think that's about that's going to be 17 seconds. So that's definitely not without the outside the realms of possibility. In fact, the gap up to 5th place or 6th place, I think is going to be about what's that, about maybe 31 seconds. So yeah, let's see what can happen here, because of course you've then got that outlap to deal with as well, at which point, you know, Nick is going to be, you know, speed along, tyres are going to be in great condition. This is going to be an awesome finish.
Yeah, I think that our audience, thank you very much to all the comments coming in at the moment on the relevant chats. It has been an absolutely brilliant race here for the British Classics, a one-off event here on the SimGrid. You know, with still just under 17 minutes still to go here, David. We're on board with the 380 of Andrei Hruška in the number 380. He's still got a pit stop, and now he's pulling in. So you're now going to see that the top 8, look, Hinsai in the number 5 McLaren, yet to also have that final pit stop, and then the number 41 Bentley, and that is of Martin Ulrich from Denmark, yet to put in that final pit stop. But it's the top 8 that we've really got to watch now.
Well, we're having a very bold call here from our behind-the-scenes man, Michael Hamlet. He's saying P5 for Nick Nichols, and I've got to be honest, I want to hear what our viewers think on this one. We've got 130 watching on YouTube at the moment. Where do we think Nick Nichols in the number 13 machine is going to finish in this top 10? Top 10 is almost 100% guaranteed now, with the fact that he is the top runner with both pit stops done and dusted. Cormac Ryan Meenan, though, I would never have seen him out there in 11th place there. Look at Tavanari as well. They'll be reunited very shortly, as Hinsai is the cork between those two at the moment. Gregor says that he trusts you, Michael. I'm pretty sure that trust is misplaced, but yeah, we'll see. Michael would agree, yeah.
You know what? I'm going to add a bit of fuel to the fire, even though it is my co-commentary debut here on the SimGrid. I would love to see a great battle between Nick Nichols and Van der Kerkholt for 5th position in the dying moments. If that would be a way of deciding 5th place, I think that would be a great way to end it.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen. We will see
a double Dutch delight shootout there, yeah. David.
A Dutch shootout. I was going to say a Dutch pancake, but yeah, we'll maybe move that one by. 15 minutes left to go in the race, and it's looking very, very comfortable for Yuri Petrochenko in the lead. 6 seconds has been the steady gap over Bastian Richter, and for these two, fairly new to the SimGrid tonight here. What a brilliant debut for the pair of them.
Oh, there was a sorry, David. There was a run wide and a half, and that was from Van der Kerkholt there. He nearly could have lost the back end of that car. That was definitely a new Nomex moment for the Dutchman right there and then, because I saw that literally as we cut away from it. I think Niels van der Kerkholt is a very, very lucky individual at this particular moment in time. That's not what you need with 15 minutes to go.
Do you know what it is, Alex? He's listening to us on the commentary, and he heard the comment about P5 in the fight for that position. Here we go then, replay of Niels van der Kerkholt, and you can see Fokker in the background there. I'd be very nervous with him, and just locks up the brake. You can see that left-hand side just jiggling as the car trying to get itself back onto the pace here. This is going to be down in towards Vale then, and yeah.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, we just. I think that was probably a bit too hot coming out of club, going through into Abbey. That's probably where he had that little bit of an off-track cut. But to be honest with you, it's been kept rather clean in the last 13 and a half. You know, with 13 and a half minutes to go, we haven't seen that many drivers being pinged for track limits here, David.
No, and to be fair, that is quite consistent and quite a thing that we usually see here at the sim grids. Very, very competent race drivers here. You know, they put in so much effort here. We'll come back to that in a minute because Cillian Raiminen is being absolutely hounded by Simon Ramsey here. And if I recall correctly, Simon Ramsey actually got a penalty for that collision on the first lap there, where he went careering into traffic and causing all sorts of mayhem right here at Vale Corner, as it were. Is he going to try and do it again? Late on the brakes, thinks better of it, and Cillian Raiminen is under all sorts of pressure here. Cillian's really had a difficult race, Alex. He's had his fair share of moments left, right and centre here.
Yeah, definitely the case. Yeah, it was the contact that Simon actually had with Martin Ulrich in the number 41, and that was on lap number 1. So Ramsey gets had a 15-second penalty added to his race time, and you can just see how hard that Bentley is being pushed. As the number 23 of Cillian Raiminen definitely feeling the heat under the collar, and as they say, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen.
I like that. That's a very, very appropriate face here. This is our man himself, the man, the myth, the legend that is Conal Courtney, or Cornel Connie, as we love to call him on stream here. Making his way round the track and doing average lap times about 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 1. I'm so chuffed for this young man. We have a lot of banter, we give him a lot of stick, and yeah, he's doing very, very well there. And we'll just see if we can get his webcam to nudge up a little bit so we miss the part that he just breached track limits there. But we didn't see anything there. You go, son, you go. 11 and a half minutes left to go in the British Classics race here at the Sim Grids, a special one-off race to keep you entertained over this festive period here at the Sim Grid. Remember, head over to thesimgrid.com and get yourself involved in the daily races. We'll tell you more about that in a second. Look at Simon Ramsey there, though. Again, all that pressure onto the back of Cillian Raiminen, side by side, and weaving from one side to the next, on the brakes into Stoke Corner, thinks better of it. Again, just pulling around. Oh, having a heave on the anchors there, Alex, as Cillian Raiminen almost outbrakes himself.
Looks like there's a Jaguar closing on their 6 as well. Is that Ludvigsen, if I might be very much corrected? No, that's not the case. That is one of the other Jaguars behind, but it looks like Malinowski had a drive-through penalty that I think might have just been has just been rescinded by race control. But you
second place. That's Bastian Richter.
Richter, oh my goodness, so Richter, he's going to get a right good old toe out of these two. Oh, Ramsey runs wide coming out of Abbey and rejoins, and Richard Lindhorst has now been brought into the fray in the 111 Aston Martin. So the gap between Ramsey and Lindhorst was about 3.1 seconds. I think Simon Ramsey has lost about 2 seconds of that thanks to that off-track cut coming out of Abbey. And he was pressuring Cillian Raiminen like it was going out of fashion.
Meanwhile, here is Nick Nichols in the number 13 machine, holding off that place, really. That is I believe that's a lapped car that he's got behind him. Indeed it is, just making his way down into Vale. That is one of the Bentleys. Is that the 297 of Luke Francis?
Yeah, that is the case. I judge it by the colour scheme from a bit earlier on. So yeah, Luke Francis currently sitting way down towards the back part of the field, I believe. 31st position, because we have had 4 DNFs out of the 36 that started this race nearly an hour and a half ago. But Nick Nichols, just at the moment, Nichols running in the 159.3s. And get this, though, Joao Cavassa just up ahead, David, was over 3.5 tenths of a second slowest. The gap between these two definitely coming down. It's 7.9 seconds at the minute.
Not only that, Alex, but Nick Nichols is actually faster than, get this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in front of him. He is on pace with Bastian Richter in second place. I just don't know how this is going to pan out right now. I really, really don't. And I think we could be very, very shocked and surprised at this.
And Michael Hamlet saying he's standing by his P5. We've got 8.5 minutes as Killian. Yeah, I mean, who knows what might. And Sims and Riggs on the YouTube chat says exactly the same thing. So everyone's looking for Nick Nichols to get a P5 finish. As we go on the back windscreen cam, the Aston Martin number 23 of Sidemax Motorworks is Killian Ryan Meenan being pressurised once again by Simon Ramsayer. That is going through Village and into the loop. Now they're going to go through the left-hander at Aintree. And if the Bentley can get a good run, he's not going to be close enough, as they're going to now make their way down the Wellington Straight. And you can see that Ramsay is just showing the nose there, just telling Ryan Meenan that he is there as they now go through Brooklands and into the rights at Luffield. And it looks like Killian Ryan Meenan takes a tighter apex through Luffield to get the better run coming out of Woodcote, but the Bentley still holding on to those crosshairs on the back of that Aston Martin.
Yep, and the other thing to bear in mind is that the Aston Martin of Richard Lindhorst is coming into play as well. The old Neapolitan outfit is coming to make that a three-way battle for 21st position. This is what I love about the Sim Grid races. Nearly, 82 minutes into a 90-minute race, and we have still got, 3, 4, 5 car battles all the way through the battle.
Right, okay, just heard that Prendergast has pitted, and Lozanov has also pitted from P3 and P4. Oh, bit of a run wide there from Killian Ryan Meenan, and that was coming through the exit of Chapel, and that nearly gave the opportunity for Simon Ramsay to go up the inside through into Stowe, but Ryan Meenan keeps the position for the moment. This is going to be rather close and a bit tasty going through into Vale if the Bentley can send it from absolutely nowhere. But look at Lindhorst right on the back pair of these two in front.
Oh, wow, what a pit stop then from Prendergast and Christian Lozanov, because they're now bumper to bumper on the exit of pit lane there. So, wow, this is amazing. 4 seconds gained in the pit lane for Christian Lozanov there. That is what you want to see in the finish of the race.
Yeah, but the problem is he's just nearly lost that time coming through out of Chapel Curve. Lozanov actually ran wide, and on cold tyres, if he's changed tyres, that's a very brave thing to do, because we've got 6 minutes of this race still to go. So neither of them changed tyres, but even though you're running down the pit lane at a slow speed, the tyres are going to get cooler, David, and a mistake can happen. If you don't change tyres, even on, or change tyres thereof, it's still going to provide that 50-50 pendulum swing, or whether you're going to nail it, and they've got traffic coming up ahead of them.
Now, have a look behind, because if that is the 101 behind him, then the car in the background should be the 13 of Nichols, and that is about three seconds behind him. So Nichols could not only jump several cars on the track through pits, but could also take them guys just on raw pace.
You want me to throw another curveball? The top 6 yet to pit. This is where that strategy from Nick Nichols could really pay dividends. And look, he's closing. He is closing on Lozanov and Prendergast. They are not out of the woods, and neither are the lower part of the top 6 yet, with just under 5 minutes to go.
This is crazy, crazy stuff. 5 minutes left to go, and cars are going to have to think about this very, very carefully now, because the opportunities in which they can pit are becoming few and far between. And here we go then, more pits then. Henneberg into the pits there, Peter Henneberg, as Joao Cavaca, I think, is going to head into pits as well. He does. Well, Alex, this is starting to get really, really feisty with just 4.5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, and it's here at Silverstone. No better place to hold the British Classics, buddy? But look, Nick Nichols trying to get deposed of that back marker Bentley just up ahead. And I'm trying to catch who that is at the moment, but Nick Nichols needs to get shot of this Bentley, who runs a bit wide. That's coming out of Chapel and manages to power the Aston Martin around the outside, heading towards Stowe Corner down the Hanger Straight. So Nick Nichols now has Lozanov and Prendergast in clear sight. And those two drivers will see that Aston Martin, silver in colour with a bit of black rubber around the front valances and the front splitter on that number 13, and they know that he is coming. And he's I think Nick Nichols sniffs a little bit of blood in the water.
Yeah, that was a 2-2-1 of Alexander Doric at the Bentley that was
top two in the pits. Top two in the pits. Petrochenko and Richter have decided to pit at the same time with 3.5 minutes to go. Oh, Richter's stuffed it in the pit lane. Oh my goodness, he hit the wall coming into the pits, and that car, if he's got damage, he can't repair it. He can't afford to repair it, but that's going to compromise him in regards to trying to get the upper hand on Petrochenko. What a disaster for Bastian Richter.
Yeah, that's it. That's going to be a DNF then for Richter. Wow, that is a very, very bizarre incident going on there. We'll keep our eyes on this one then. We've got 2 minutes left to go, 2 minutes 50 seconds left to go. This is Christian Lozanov trying to catch up to Prendergast just in front of him. He's doing that. Meanwhile, 2.5 seconds behind them is Nick Nichols as Veerman comes into the pits. Mike Veerman then is just going to leave Niels van de Kekkel as the sole remaining car to go into the pits then. That's going to move Nichols up to 6th place, and that makes the 5th place a very, very likely affair indeed.
Yeah, very much the case. I mean, Niels van der Kekkel being the last driver to leave it until the last gasp. He's going to leave it until the penultimate lap, I think. You know, because we've only got, bit of a slight mistake there from Christian Lozanov in the 101. And that was going through maggots. Right, okay, we're going to have a little bit of a replay. Here's Bastian Richter. Goes to the left. And,
Is that a hardware failure?
Yeah, so... Not too sure what happened there, but it swerved to the left, then swerved to the left again, and glanced the barrier on the outside of the pit lane. As Lozanov now trying to find a way past Prendergast. Christian Prendergast, Kieran Prendergast now having Christian Lozanov trying to close in, and You know, it's going to be really interesting. We've had another penalty come through. Incident on lap number 42 involving the number 99 of Simon Ramsayer and the number 111 of Richard Lindhorst. Simon Ramsayer gets a 10-second penalty for avoidable contact. That's a total of 25 seconds over the course of the race, David.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see, is it? That is an awful outcome for Simon Ramsayer. He was involved in some great battles, but unfortunately the patience has really let him down on that one, and that's really done it. Meanwhile, there you go, Niels van der Kekkel completes the top 10 for pits, then he comes into pit lane. Where does he come out? This is a cracking battle that we're watching here between Kieran Prendergast and Lozanov for 4th and 5th position. It's going to be for 3rd and 4th position surely now, because they go past Niels van der Kekkel in pit lane just now. Well, you wanted a grandstand finish, and we've got another penalty incoming. 30 seconds left to go. Oh no, Simon Ramsayer gets another penalty. Alex, I'm just... I think we'll maybe just not tell him this time. Because
we'll just leave for the broadcasters to put it on the screen there for you. Another 15 seconds, unfortunately, and that was with the 23 of Killian Ryan Meenan. But yeah, you can now see Lozanov is on the back of Kieran Prendergast, and look, yeah. But the biggest thing look who's just pitted with seconds remaining. Veerman pitted from 15th position. Now the clock strikes 0. Oh, this is what we were hoping for, a bit of a banzai battle. Yeah. I think there's a little bit of a chuckle from Michael Hamlet there, our fountain of knowledge here at the Sim Grid. But yeah, Nick Nichols, look, he's only a second away from Lozanov. P5, who's not to hazard a guess? Watch out for what happens between Prendergast and Lozanov, because Nichols is closing, and I'm keeping an eye. He was quicker than the pair of them by at least 0.7 of a second.
Here we go then, your race leader rounds in towards the final corner. It's going to be Yuri Petrochenko through the final corner for the final time in towards Luffields, and then Woodcut corner across the line. Beautiful win there for Yuri Petrichenko, and we'll catch the rest of them going over, because here we go. What a battle! Three-way tie for 4th, 5th and 6th place right now.
No, it's third. It's third, David. Third, 4th and 5th. And Lazarov goes for a last-ditch manoeuvre through Brooklands into Luffield. Look how close Nipples is at the moment. It's going to be a drag to the line. Who's going to get the pull coming out of Luffield? Through into Woodcut. It looks like Prendergast has done enough. Lazarov will take 4th place. And as Michael Hamlet from SimGrid predicted, 5th place from the Netherlands, Nick Nipples in the number 13. Wow.
That was awesome stuff there. Great win for Yuri Petrichenko. Bastian Richter taking 2nd place there. Kieran Prendergast, never would have imagined taking that 3rd place there. It's going to be a 4th place for Lozanov. Nipples into 5th place. I mean, absolutely stunning for Nipples. Niels van de Kekel into 6th place, Eric Diaz in 7th, Luca Tavanari in 8th place there. It's going to be 9th place there for Cormac Rymanen, then 10th place for Sigurd Ludvigsson. What a brilliant effort there. 16th place start for Ludvigsson, and gets a P10 finish. Where's my boy? Where is Colin Courtney? P28. That is, yeah, I'm very impressed with that. 4th place gains, as we see Richard Lindhorst try to make a move on Killian Ryan Meenan there, but it's not going to be, surely. Oh, contact! Oh, Killian Ryan Meenan's been rudely poked up the rear end there from Richard Lindhorst. I think it's going to be as you were through the final couple of corners there. Killian Ryan Meenan is just going to hold on to that place. That was naughty. That was crazy battling, Alex.
Out of the frying pan into the fire between those two. Right up until the checkered flag. Just great to see drivers up and down the order here on SimGrid. It's my first taste of it. I must be honest, I'm rather hooked.
It is awesome stuff, my friends. Right, let's take you through the finishing order then, as we see them on the grid there. So the race win for Yuri Petrichenko, 2nd place for Bastian Richter, 3rd place for Kieran Prendergast, 4th place for Christian Lozanov, 5th place was Nick Nipples after that stunning recovery drive. Niels van de Kekel into 6th place, with 7th place going to Eric Diaz. 7th place is Luca Tavanari. 8th place is Luca Tavanari, and 9th place is Cormac Ryan Meenan. 10th place is Sigurd Ludvigsson, and 11th place is Javier Cifuentes. The 12th place is going to go to Jaaaag Kafka. 13th place for Peter Henneberg. 14th place for Alexander Paulik, despite that amazing start. 15th place for Lorenzo Rappa. We didn't really see him through the race. 16th place for Matis Kopf. 17th place for Andre Hurska. 18th place for Kevin Niles, 19th place for Hinsai, and then 20th place for Mike Veerman. 21st for Killian Ryan Meenan, who had a race to forget. Richard Lindhorst in 22nd there, with that amazing battle towards the end there. 20 minutes of pure action between those two. Simon Rams there, the less said about his race, the better. Matt Webb finishing in P24, Alessandro Fokker in 25, 26th is Martin Ulrich, 27th is Paul Batty, 28th is Connell Courtney, our man Connell, 29th is Luke Francis, 30th is going to be Alexander Doriket, 31st is going to be Mikos Maranowski, and then 32nd for Pasquale De Lucia, 33rd for Dallin Mulholland, 34th for Klaus Neiring, 35th for Vasily Roskov, and 36th DNF for Fabio Azevedo. There we go, Alex. What a race, and we should have a couple of drivers to go and have a chat with shortly.
Yeah, I think we will do. But yeah, what a race. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Great iconic British GT3 machinery here at the British Classics on the SimGrid. Wow. 90 minutes of entertainment, mate.
Love it. Right, let's get on the go with some driver chats, and we'll bring our boy in because we've got vested interest in him. Let's bring in Connell Courtney. Connell, good evening, my friend. You didn't win it. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were begging me in the chat. I was like, oh God, I thought the only way that I was going to get on stream was through a crash, but I just seen a screenshot. Unfortunately, he's cut to me when I was slouched, which sort of summed up pretty much my race.
So obviously we're more used to seeing you behind the scenes here and behind the microphone call, but I've got to be honest with you. You did us proud, us on the commentary team here. That was a brilliant race, and you must be pretty happy with P28.
Not in the slightest, no. I'm not. I got up to. It was a pretty hectic start to the race, and I managed to weave my way through some of the incidents and get myself up to 15th. So things were looking on the up, and then obviously I wasn't treating the Jaaaag as well as it should have been treated, and managed to flat spot a tyre pretty early on in the stint, and then from there on it was just limping around doing 202s, 203s, whereas the pace was sort of in 59s earlier, so it was a bit of a struggle then trying to get around, and I had to call a bit of an audible and pit early, and then I just I suffered a little bit there in the end, but you know what, I was just happy to get racing again. Obviously I love doing my commentary, but it was great to be involved in a sim grid race.
And obviously after that start you said you got up to 15th, and what was the thoughts going through that, because obviously it all changed after that first set of pit stops. How excited were you when you got that far up the grid? Yeah, I was happy to go from 32nd on the grid to 15th in the early stages, but I was a bit realistic. I knew, like, I'd seen guys like Killian Ramin and guys like that get involved in incidents, and I knew they'd be coming through the pack later on in the race, so I knew my race pace wise wasn't exactly 15th place worthy, so I knew I was going to get caught at some point, but just tried to stay as consistent as possible and hope that people made mistakes behind me so I could get as close to 15th as possible, but it didn't quite work out, but I will go again. Well, it was an absolute joy watching you, buddy, and we look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. Thank you, man. Take it easy, buddy. Connell Courtney, you can catch him on stream for the Sim Grid in the new year. Let's go and bring in Kieran Prendergast. A very good evening, Kieran. That was a brilliant race for yourself, and talk us through that.
Oh, good evening. Yeah, it was a tough race from start to finish, really. Qualied P3, and coming out of the second stint after my second pit, I had no pace whatsoever. But the guys up top deserved, the result they got, but. Very tough one. I'm sweating right now from it, but yeah, I enjoyed myself.
The last 10 minutes with Christian Lozanov behind you, how much pressure was that?
I saw him coming down, dropping the time down ever so quickly, and I thought it was a thing where my pressures were like lost in a way. Dropping pressures throughout the race, and he was gaining on me. And you know what it's like when you're in front and you got someone that's fast that's catching you. It's just overload of pressure. But yeah, I managed to stay in front, keep my head, and yeah.
Yep, third place then. You can't be too unhappy with that, and obviously we had Nick Nichols, who was catching very quickly onto the two of you as well. But I mean, looking at the leaders, Yuri Petrochenko and Bastian Richter, I mean, the entire field didn't really have the same sort of pace that those two had. What do you think it was that just had them in a different class?
I mean, the first stint, I felt like I could keep up with them in a way. Sort of getting towards the latter stages of my stint, it was getting a bit more difficult. But in the second stint, I mean, they were gone, at least a second or so quicker than me. But yeah, I mean, it was a tough race overall, and I'm glad to get P3.
Well, it was awesome seeing you tonight, Kieran, and we wish you a happy new year, and look forward to seeing you back on January.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you too.
Excellent stuff. Kieran Prendergast there then, and our final interview of the night is the man who we spent the last half hour watching with bated breath and anticipation, Nick Nichols. Nick, that was an awesome final stint, buddy. We were on the edge of our seat watching you. You must be desperately happy to get that position.
Yeah, thank you so much. I was really gutted by the fact of the crash of lap 1, but I managed to re-grab myself and I gave it everything and it paid out very well.
Now, towards the end there, you had incredible pace, and for a lot of the race, you were sort of quite lowly. You were in the high teens. When you took that second pit stop, did you think at all that there was a chance that you were going to finish, let alone in the top 10, but in the top 5?
Yeah, I was aiming for P15 at that moment, but then I started to realize P10 was possible as well. And then slowly I thought maybe some more positions, and I ended up P5, and I was so close to P3 and P4. I believe it was only 4 tenths in between, so really happy with it.
Is there anything else at all you think that you could have done differently, or is it just a case of you threw everything that you had at it?
Some consistency could be improved, but I'm happy with P5.
Well, it was an awesome race, buddy. We had so much fun in the commentary box watching you and cheering you on, and we wish you a very, very happy new year.
Thanks. I want to thank everyone for the amazing race we had.
Well, it was our pleasure. Nick Nipples there, and there we go. Alex, that is all of our drivers done and dusted. What a race, man. That was so much fun. Your very first SimGrid's initiation. Will you be coming back for more?
I hope that they get me back for more, because I've commentated on quite a few communities, as you well know of, through the ACC platform, and to see how professional, how composed the drivers are. We've got some great events coming up. The Endurance Cup Season 2 heads to Zolder on the 9th of January. Then it's the next round of more female races by Thrustmaster at Monza on Monday the 11th. There's so much coming up. The Endurance Cup, as you can see on your screens, more female races brought, and this is and also the Sprint Cup, which heads to Monza on the 14th of January. If you want to register, head to thesimgrid.com before places run out. And yes, as far as I'm aware, this is actually the last ever live stream from us here at the SimGrid for 2020, if memory serves me correctly, David.
It certainly is. I'm off to go and open the bottle of whiskey for the next 3 days and be back very, very soon. But just a reminder, guys, of a few things. Head over to beta.thesimgrid if you want to take part in our daily races that are being developed and pushed through here at the SimGrid, proven massively popular. Look at that. That's 40 out of 40 spaces in the next GT3 race, 30 out of 30 in the GT4s, and then it sort of quietens down over midnight. But lots and lots of daily races, almost on the hour, every hour, and proving very, very popular with the community. Head over there, and also head over to Coach Dave Academy. If you see what happened tonight and you think, I fancy joining, but I'm just not up to scratch with the pace, head over to Coach Dave Academy, pick yourself up one of the professional developed setup packs that they offer on there as well. They've been developed by some of the fastest sim racers that are in the community here, and you can just download them, pay a little for the packs that they offer, and very quickly get yourself up to the speed with the pros in no time whatsoever. And also, if you want to be even more fast, then head over to Thrustmaster as well and pick up yourself an awesome wheel bundle that they've got on sale just now for the new year. But that is it. That is our festive frolics done for this year. That is us done for 2020, and my goodness me, what a 2020 it's been. And I think on that note, Alex, we're going to wrap up. So thank you very much to Alex Goldschmidt for joining us tonight, and we will absolutely make sure that we have him back for 2021. I've been David Christie. A huge thank you to Michael Hamlet at the SimGrid and to Mike Jaaaag for Simply Race. It's been an amazing year. I'm so privileged to have been asked to join on board. Looking forward to an incredible year ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Hit like and subscribe, and we will see you next year.